This game was scheduled back in October, but you remember Hurricane Wilma said, no, let's move it on down the calendar. But once again, the tough people of this state have heard, and here we are tonight with an ACC matchup between Georgia Tech and Miami. Welcome to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Polaroid. Tonight, it's an ACC matchup as the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets take on the #3 Miami Hurricanes. ESPN Saturday Night College Football is broadcast in high definition and presented by Phillips. So the Miami Hurricanes prepare to take the field, and you'll hear from the crowd when they do. In fact, they now move up inside the inflated helmet. Here comes the crowd, and here come the Hurricanes. Everybody, Ron Franklin along with Bob Davie and Holly Rowe, and we'll be hearing from Holly shortly. As Miami takes the field, one thing is for sure, this game was scheduled in October. But one of the things that has happened over the course of the season, this offense has improved and improved greatly. But one of the things that is still a constant here in this city, and that is when the defense walks in the room, the offense stands up and offers their chairs because, Bob, to me, the swagger is back on the Miami defense.
Ron, you're exactly right. And Miami's defense is so much fun to watch because they get up in your face and flat challenge you. It all starts with their two corners, Kelly Jennings and Marcus Maxey, who lock down on wide receivers with tight bump and run man coverage. Because they can play one-on-one, they challenge every throw, and it also gives Miami a lot of flexibility, Ron, in their defensive scheme and calls.
Talking about attributes on defense, Georgia Tech has got a lot to be proud of themselves. John Tenuto's group leads the conference in interceptions with 17. They lead the conference in giveaway takeaway margin at +11. My question to you is, though, what does their offense have to do to win this ball game tonight?
Ron, it won't be easy, but Georgia Tech has a shot because they have talent and experience at quarterback and wide receiver. Quarterback Reggie Ball started 33 straight games, and he has the ability to keep Miami off balance, both running and passing. At wide receiver, 6'4" Calvin Johnson may be the best in the country, and he will test the Miami corners and their ability to play bump and run. Georgia Tech must get big plays, and they will have to do it without starting tailback P.J. Daniels out with a sternum injury.
So you might call this one a makeup date. It is Miami playing host to Georgia Tech. ACC football coming up next.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by T. Rowe Price. Mutual funds, IRAs, college savings from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Verizon Wireless. There's only one reason to choose a wireless company. It's the network. And Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, one taste and you get it.
So welcome back to Orange Bowl Stadium in Miami, Florida. The city of Miami welcomes you. That's what it says, to the Orange Bowl. The record 6-3 and 8-1. And of course, what is at stake tonight? The Miami Hurricanes, Bob Davie, still trying to keep up with a possibility of adding a 6th national championship to go on that banner right there.
And Miami may be the hottest team in the country. What an impression they made up in Blacksburg 2 weeks ago against Virginia Tech. They got the attention of the entire country, Ron.
I don't think there's any question about that. Jordan prepares to kick it off, and the deep man, that's Jala, one of the wide receivers, Akeem, a junior out of New Orleans, St. Augustine, and Darnell Jenkins on the other side. Here's the kick. Going to be taken at the 5 by Jenkins. Loses his footing, and he's down at the 21-yard line. So it gives us an opportunity to talk about young Kyle Wright. And we have visited a lot about him and his progressions through the season. And there's no doubt in visiting with him this past week, the improvement of that offensive line has been one of the things that has really helped him along after starting the season with 9 sacks against Florida State.
And Ron, he will need pass protection tonight. Georgia Tech, a big blitz team, a lot of zone blitz. There's holes in the coverage if they can protect Kyle Wright and give him time to throw it. Charlie Jones made his name as they go with an end around. 20, 25, and 30, and it is Sonoris Moss. So they come out. He ran right out of his shoe, but he gained 10 yards. Here are the starters for Miami. Charlie Jones at tailback. Hill is the fullback. Moore and Sonoris Moss, who we just saw, wide receiver. Greg Olson, the fine tight end. Up front with the offensive line, much improved. Eric Winston has really been a constant. Rashad Butler has been a very pleasant surprise. He's the man that moved in last year, replacing Winston when he injured his knee in this very same game against Georgia Tech. Good look right there at Eric Winston, the senior out of Midland Lee. His story is well known. Came here as a tight end and now has been moved to offensive tackle. And he loves the change, Bob. And you talk about Eric Winston. Last year, Ron, against Georgia Tech, a major knee injury in the game in Atlanta. Good to see him back. He is one of the top 2 offensive tackles in all of college football. Looking forward to the NFL draft at the end of this year. It was funny yesterday. 2 of his buddies that he played high school football with and won a state 5A championship in the state of Texas with were in town to visit. And he was all grins and showing him around the athletic facility. A long way from Midland, Texas to Miami, Florida, Ron. I promise you. Yep, those kids said they were glad he came here. It gave him an opportunity to visit this part of the world. Wright drills the pass. Did he catch it? Nope. Incomplete. That is Greg Olson on the receiving end and could not get the handle on it. Here are the starters for Georgia Tech. Eric Henderson, well documented. He and Roto on that left side, extremely tough. NUI and Adam Oliver making up the remainder of the down 4. Hall, Wilkinson, and Philip Wheeler. Philip is a true freshman at one of those linebacking spots. Davis and Scott on the outside. Chris Reese, quite a player. And DeJuan Landry at the free safety. His brother LaRon plays at LSU. Going to throw. Wright has a man. The ball is tipped and almost intercepted by K-Michael Hall, number 35, one of the linebackers. Ron, something Miami does a lot. Unbalanced line. You're going to look right here. This is Olson, the tight end, really lined up next to the guard at offensive tackle, but he is eligible because he's the end man on the line of scrimmage. That's a big part of Miami's offense, really lining him up as a tackle, the number 2 man, but eligible on passes. Nice job by Hall. You could see his drop, and he not only got the depth, but had the jumping ability to get up and hit it. 3rd down. Here's Wright, safety valve, throws it high. It is caught. It's going to be well short of the 1st down. They're going to give him forward progress about 3 yards shy of it. Sonoris Moss, who handles the ball for the 2nd time in this ball game, and it will be punting time for Brian Monroe, a junior out of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. You look at Larry Coker. Pat Clark is the deep man. Here's the boot for the left footer. Not a good spiral. Now takes a big Georgia Tech bounce and is going to be touched down by Buck Ortega, one of the tight ends. Only 31 yards on the boot. So that means that it will be Reggie Ball directing the offense here for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Started 33 of his 34 games in his career. Missed the 1 game against Connecticut with viral meningitis early in the season. Ron, this guy is plenty capable. He must be consistent in his decision making against the speed of this Miami defense. And you know, I have to think he had a bad ball game for him against this Miami team last year.
3 pickoffs, and some not-so-good decisions that he wants to make amends for that. Zips this pass, has the first one complete out at the 49-yard line to big Calvin Johnson, and it's complete for 18 yards.
And this is what we want to see. It's going to be Miami man-to-man coverage, bailing out right there. Kelly Jennings, the deep comeback route by Calvin Johnson. And Ron, there is no question about Reggie Ball's arm strength.
Oh, Jennings may have shaken himself up, Bob, either that left shoulder or his left arm. Randy Phillips, number 6, a freshman out of Belglade, comes into the ball game replacing him. Pitch back goes to Tashard Choice, going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage and knocked down for no gain. And as Bob mentioned off the top, P.J. Daniels not able to play at all tonight. So here are the starters. Choice at tailback. It'll be Calvin Johnson and Bilbo at the wide receiver spot. George Cooper is the tight end. And up front with the offensive line, the biggest change here is Mashirovich will start replacing Brad Honeycutt at that right tackle position. Honeycutt, a redshirt senior. Mashirovich does not get that much playing time. 2nd down and 12. Pitch looked like a broken play, and now it is totally broken as penetration by Orion Harris. Here are the starters on defense for the Hurricanes. Up front, we just talked about Harris. Baraka Adams has had an outstanding year. Javon Nathan and Thomas Carroll on the outside at the defensive ends. The linebackers, McIntosh, Romeo Davis, and John Beeson. And in the secondary, Jennings, who was shaken up and had to go out, and Marcus Maxey. Merriweather and Kenny Phillips are the safeties. There's a look at Jennings on the sideline. By the way, Kenny Phillips, number 1, is a true freshman out of Miami Carroll City. Timeout, Georgia Tech. No score, 12:04 left to play, opening quarter. Miami, Florida. No score. Timeout called by Georgia Tech. They have a 3rd down, and they got to take it all the way to the Miami 40-yard line. You look at the rankings defensively, nationally, total yards first, total yards, passing yards first, tied for 2nd. Those are national standings, not conference standings. Here they come, twist inside, also a blitz. Ball gets it away, and he has the catch, and it's very close to the 1st down as he gets it out to Pat Clark. Thomas Carroll with some heavy pressure, but it's good for 18 yards.
And the first thing, you're going to get Brandon Merriweather, the safety, locked up on Pat Clark, number 6. A huge 3rd down and 17. Ron, in nickel situations, Brandon Merriweather goes from safety to nickel and gets matched up on the 3rd wide receiver, and that time a great execution, throw and catch by Georgia Tech.
First down for the Yellow Jackets. They have it at the 39.5-yard line. They go with the running play. Here comes Choice, bounces it outside at the 30, still on his feet, and is going to be pushed out of bounds. Or is that Chris Wood? It was Choice, number 22, 15 yards gained on the play. Started his career at the University of Oklahoma and decided he would transfer.
An interesting run. Played last year at Oklahoma. 22 carries, 104 yards in 04. Did not have to sit out a year at Georgia Tech. Had a hardship, as we saw P.J. Daniels over there on the sidelines. But normally you have to sit out a year. This guy played last year at Oklahoma. This year on the field for Georgia Tech.
Rare situation indeed. You're right. First down, Georgia Tech. They have it at the 24.5-yard line. Ball, great protection. Gets the pass out, complete to Calvin Johnson. Holly Rowe, we got your microphone steadied away there. What do you have for us?
Well, guys, Reggie Ball is a different player this year. His teammates and coaches say he's matured incredibly. Most importantly, the statistics that matter to Coach Gailey are interceptions. He has cut down that total. He had 18 last year, only 8 so far this year. The other important statistic for Georgia Tech are the sacks he's taken. Only 4 sacks credited against this quarterback this year. He knows when to get out of bounds, when to throw it away, and when to live and play another play.
Holly, right now they scrimmage with back-to-back first downs. And Reggie Ball is going to have to call another timeout. You see him shaking his head as he goes to the far sideline. Georgia Tech shaking their head as well to use 2 this early. So let's take a timeout. 11:20 left to play, opening quarter. Still no score. Georgia Tech threatening.
Singular customers text City to 243 to download the Coming to Your City ringtone.
2nd and 5. ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Polaroid. Log on to ESPN.com. Search Polaroid for a chance to go to the BCS National Championship. And in part by Radio Shack. This holiday, don't just get a gift, get the right gift at Radio Shack.
So welcome back to Miami, Florida. Time is back in. Happy to report for Hurricane fans. Number 22, Kelly Jennings, back on the field of play. He's down at the bottom of the screen. Chris Woods, a tailback, going to throw, and it's intercepted. And that's the freshman, Kenny Phillips. He's trying to run it out of the end zone, and it's going to be tackled. We may have pass interference. But Chris Woods in a tailback, and he throws the pass and the pickoff. So erase the Kenny Phillips interception.
Pass interference. Number 24 in the defense. The penalty occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal.
Going to get a chance to see the pass interference. Calvin Johnson in behind Marcus Maxey. Good call right there. Ball underthrown. Marcus Maxey did not give Calvin Johnson the opportunity to come back and make a play on the ball.
So with that, they spot the ball at the 2-yard line, as our referee said. Choice back in the ball game, puts a head down, nothing doing. Now here's where those numbers that we showed you just a couple of moments ago become extremely important to a group of kids that really take pride in being ranked at the top nationally defensively. Orion Harris led the attack.
And Ron, a huge difference, both maturity-wise, experience-wise, and quite honestly, talent-wise, between Georgia Tech's young, undersized offensive line and this big physical line that you see right there of Miami. Don't be surprised if Reggie Ball doesn't move the pocket on this.
8th play of the drive coming up. Short drop, fade route, near sideline, looking for Johnson. Well overthrown. It'll be 3rd down. Kelly Jennings was the man covering.
And you will see that all night, whether it's on the goal line or upfield. The Miami defense, Ron, up there in bump and run coverage, being physical on the big 6'4" wide receiver, Calvin Johnson.
Bob, let me say this about Kelly Jennings. When we visited with him on the phone earlier this week, Kelly Jennings, I thought, was impeccable as far as his manners. I've never heard a nicer young man.
Maybe one of the most underrated corners in all of college football.
Choice straight ahead, bangs his way, touchdown Georgia Tech. Merriweather got up to make the hit, but it was not enough. As you could see, Tassard Choice really has a burst when he gets the football.
And it reminds you a little bit, Ron, we had Georgia Tech at Auburn, the first game of the year. Georgia Tech able to take this football against Miami the length of the field like they did Auburn. And it's critical because Reggie Ball is a hot and cold quarterback. He's off to a hot start tonight.
Travis Bell to attempt the extra point. He's got it. So with 10 minutes and 16 seconds showing on the clock, it is Georgia Tech who goes on the scoreboard first. They go on top 7-0. Here are the BCS standings brought to you by Allstate. SC in Texas, Fresno State against SC. Later, Texas is idle. They play A&M next Friday. Miami, you see them at 8-1, and then you can line up all the other one-defeat teams behind them. Penn State, who has been victorious at Michigan State. LSU's game is starting about now over in Oxford. Virginia Tech won handily, as did Ohio State. Well, not handily, but they won a close one in a rivalry that is extremely important.
Some great one-loss teams on there. And one-loss teams, Ron, that lost tough ball games early in the year. You think back to Miami losing the first game of the year to Florida State at Florida State.
Let me make a point to you about this one here tonight. Georgia Tech, earlier this year, that opening game, we had them down on the plains against Auburn. They got off to a good start early. Up at Virginia Tech, a horrible early start, and they got pummeled. On the road here tonight, a good fast start. That's very important to them, isn't it, Bob?
Very important, and also important they're not playing this game in the state of Virginia, because they played terrible at Virginia Tech and got off to an awful start, Ron, last week, down 17-0 to Virginia in Charlottesville.
Jennings, 25, 30, and he's going to bring it out to around the 35. Darnell Jenkins on the return. Young man that they have been using a lot more of in the offense, particularly with Sonoris Moss having a few bangs and bruises. Good look at Darnell right there, a junior. Played here in Miami at Central High School.
Darnell, 7 catches last week against Wake Forest, is really coming on.
He said in high school, a 10-4 sprinter into 100 meters. Speed guy. Right, hands it straight ahead. Charlie Jones going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage, and that's Jarris Wilkinson, who is the first man to get there on him.
And this Georgia Tech defense, John Tenuta, the defensive coordinator, Ron, they will give this young quarterback a lot of different looks. Zone blitz team, most people think of zone blitz against the pass being difficult. Also tough against the run because you move that front.
No gain in the play, 2nd down and 10. Play action. Here comes the screen, and thrown a little too far. Jones caught it, but he fell down at the 40-yard line. So it's a gain of 5. It'll be a 3rd down and 5 situation.
Charlie Jones, now the starting tailback, Ron, shows excellent hands. A good weapon against zone blitz is the screen pass. That's a great catch right there by Charlie Jones.
Reuben Houston into the ball game for Georgia Tech. Much talked about. Suspended at the beginning of the year. And the judge says you got to let him back on. We'll talk more about that. Nothing to the right, pass to the left, and was it caught? No, incomplete, off the hands of Moss. And it was Chris Reese who had the cover.
Chris Reese, who was a linebacker last year, a safety this year, came over the top and forces Miami, Ron.
2nd time that Miami has had to punt, and we're at the 8:41 mark. High pass, and the left footer got it away. Boy, they were fortunate. Now it takes a huge Miami bounce, and it's going to come out of bounds at the 21. Let's go to the sideline and check with Holly Rowe. Holly?
Well, guys, Georgia Tech reinstated Reuben Houston today, or excuse me, on Tuesday. He was a 2-year starter that was suspended June 30th after being indicted on federal drug charges. Now, he has not yet gone to trial, but he did go to legal means to be reinstated to this team. It was ordered on Tuesday. Georgia Tech said they will comply with the order, but athletic director Dave Brain was quoted this week as saying it should be a privilege, not a right, to play football for Georgia Tech. Chan Gailey has said that he will treat him like any other student athlete. And defensive coordinator John Tenuta says, hey, he can help us win, and he's one of the guys they're certainly going to play him, as you can see.
Thank you, Holly. Mike Cox in motion. Little counter tray, and boy, there is nothing. Tashard Choice just gets obliterated at the line of scrimmage. Orion Harris on the tackle.
And back to the Reuben Houston situation from a coach's perspective. Chan Gailey has to do what he has to do. Allow him to be a part of the program. Chan Gailey does not have to play him. And I worry about a couple things making this decision. Number one, Ron, chemistry of your football team, because obviously you have guys that have practiced every day since August 1st that Reuben Houston steps in front of and plays. And another thing I worry about is just conditioning and this young man's ability to go out there and play well.
Trying to set up the screen, and it's thrown incomplete at the 15. Bob, my greatest concern is this. I don't know about a federal judge stepping in a case that is unprecedented, because Georgia Tech's never had a felon athlete. And stepping in and telling an Institute of Higher Learning what they have to do and how to run their school. That bothers me a little bit.
Well, I think you're right on with that, and there's no question it's controversial at the least. A head football coach, certainly an athletic director, would like to be able to control his own rules and regulations and decide who plays in the football game. But the bottom line, the judge made the decision, and Reuben Houston is on the field tonight.
Third down and 13. Here comes pressure. Ball is sacked at the 6-yard line, and it's Brian Pata.
And Ron, back to Reuben Houston to put closure on it. There's one other thing that really bothers me. Just the young man's ability to go out there and play without contact. You know, the NCAA has a 5-day acclimatization period in August. The first 2 days you go with no pads on, just helmets. The second 2 days, shoulder pads and helmets. The 5th day, you're allowed to tackle with live contact. This young man has gone through no acclimatization period. All of a sudden, he's out there on the field tonight.
Here's the punt, and also we need to reiterate, it is accused felon. He is not a convicted felon. 31 yards on the punt. So great field position, and it all came from the sack of Pata.
And one last thing on Reuben Houston. Georgia Tech did call the Atlantic Coast Conference about 2 hours before the game and brought up the acclimatization period, because that is an NCAA rule as far as participation. But he has been cleared tonight because it only applies in the ACC's determination to preseason practice.
So from just inside the 40, draw play. Charlie Jones, and Charlie with 3, maybe 4 tough yards. Going to be second down and long. It was DeJuan Landry who came over to make the tackle. I mentioned in the lineups this evening that DeJuan, outstanding player out of Aimee, Louisiana, which is just north of New Orleans, and his brother, Moran, is an outstanding safety for the LSU Tigers.
And this guy was a quarterback in high school, and he can tackle just like his brother.
They are tough.
Tackle.
Hey, both of them. I bet there were some battle royals in that backyard. Wright going to be hit, and he's sacked by Eric Henderson. Loss of 11 yards on the play.
And Eric Henderson is the key. Quadrine Hill, the tailback, is locked up on him. That's a mismatch. Eric Henderson's 25th career sack, his 6th this season, Ron. This guy is the key to this Georgia Tech defense.
Okay, just what we talked about just a time ago in game number 1 against a freshman quarterback at Auburn. This Tenuta defense gave him fits. And right now, he is causing problems for Kyle Wright. Look for a safety valve. Not there. Going to run it 40, 35, and then whoa, does he get hit. Jarris Wilkinson on the tackle.
This guy may be the most underrated linebacker in the ACC, Ron. And right here, Georgia Tech in zone, invites Kyle Wright to run the football. And watch this lick over here. Wham! That is a shot on that sideline.
You see where he hit him on the shoulder. Careful not to throw that lick toward the head. It is 4th down. And it would appear Miami's going to go for it. They need to take it to the 28-yard line. After all the exposure we had to it last week, remember one thing. On 4th down, you better not fumble it forward unless you're going to recover it, because it's coming back to where you fumbled it. Not going to be a point, though, because Wright is sacked again. This time, Philip Wheeler. -9 on that play. -11 just a moment ago.
And John Tenuta brought him all. He brought the corner. He's also going to bring Wheeler, the linebacker, I believe, right here. And this Miami offense, Ron, 25 sacks on the year, but only 2 sacks in the last 2 weeks. And you see the Georgia Tech defense, what they can do to a young quarterback and pass protection.
So Georgia Tech has the football, and they have it at their own 43-yard line. Again, Tashard Choice, the redshirt sophomore out of Riverdale, Georgia, by way of Oklahoma, in the game at tailback. And they'll hand it off to him, hit behind the line of scrimmage. And that looked a strange-looking handoff there. What was he on the wrong side, or was it the quarterback?
Ron, if you think back to the Auburn game, when Georgia Tech used some misdirection against a fast Auburn defense. In other words, get them started one way and bring the back on a little counter. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, what that was. That did look a little unorthodox.
P.J. Daniels on the sideline, not participating tonight. A bruised sternum, normally the starter at tailback, and that's the reason we're seeing Choice. Pass. Was it caught by Johnson? Yes. Boy, what a stab as the tall, lean guy reached out there and brought it down. Marcus Maxey was all over him. And a great catch by Calvin.
And Georgia Tech's playing against bump and run coverage. Down the field like you're running a takeoff, and then a deep comeback. Get the DB running out of there, then come back underneath, and watch this catch right here by Calvin Johnson.
You could see the reaction from the coaches right there next to the play. You knew he caught it the way they reacted. It's a 3rd down, and they need just inches. Georgia Tech leads it 7-0. About to go under 4 minutes to play, opening quarter. Quarterback sneak, and Reggie Ball will have the first down. Romeo Davis, one of the linebackers, sophomore out of Pittsburgh, California, is there to make the stop.
Reggie Ball is hot. We mentioned he is a streaky quarterback. When he's good, he is really good.
That's right.
Sometimes when he's bad, he's pretty bad.
Well, 1 year ago in this ball game, I mean, that's, as I said, he has to make amends, or want to make amends, for the way he played last year, because it was not a true Reggie Ball production. Straight ahead with Choice, and he's going to have about 5 yards. Kareem Brown, the big junior out of Miami, who had a recovery for a touchdown in that Virginia Tech game. You remember, after the hit, recovered it in the end zone.
And they love the talent of this young defensive lineman, Kareem Brown. And does anyone turn out? Those defensive linemen all start to look the same, like Miami.
Second down and about 5.5. Choice, look at him change direction. Has 5, has 10. And I'll tell you what, folks, when you see the replay on this one, he almost broke his own ankle, let alone the defender.
And Ron, I talk about the cutback play. Get a fast defense starting this way, and then cut it back against the grain. Take advantage of their over pursuit. Watch right here. Everything starts to the left, and look at the cutback lane right there. This really does remind you of the game down in Auburn early in the season, doesn't it?
Tell you something, this kid right here is extremely impressive. Tuminello with a very good block on the play, the center. They pitch it back to Choice, nothing to the left, tries to bounce it back to the right. Check it, it's Chris Woods, had just come in replacing Choice.
The keys to Georgia Tech's offense, I think, first, run the quarterback. The reason I say that, last year Reggie Ball didn't play well, Ron, but he had some huge quarterback runs. Second, I think at some point you have to throw some screen passes. Wake Forest did a good job. And third, and the biggest, take some shots against man-to-man down the field to number 21, Calvin Johnson.
And when you got a horse like that, you got to ride him. He's on the bench right now getting a breather. It's second down. They need to take it just outside the 20-yard line. Ball looking, goes to the end zone, and that one not close. James Johnson was the closest man to it, but there were 3 defenders right there in the area.
And I think you see the maturation run of Reggie Ball right there. His passing percentage is down. It's only 49%, but last year, 1 interception every 18 throws. This year, 1 interception every 34 throws. So he's really cut that interception rate in half.
8th play of the drive coming up. 3rd down. Tashard Choice, number 22, comes back in a tailback. Georgia Tech 7, Miami nothing. Under 2 minutes to play, first quarter. Going to put it in the stomach of Choice, and the draw play didn't work. Good idea, but Miami was right there and read it well. So Travis Bell will come on to attempt the field goal. Let's take a look at our All-State kick chart to see how he has done. This is going to be a 42-yard attempt. He's 50%, 4 of 8. Ball is down, plenty of distance. Did he yank it? Yes, yanked it to the left. Tried to get too much on it, didn't need it. Marcus Maxey was in the backfield and very close. And Larry Coker pleased over there. That plays, they dodged one. 1:05 left opening quarter. 7-0 Tech. On Thursday, the NCAA ruled that since 1998, Georgia Tech had used 17 athletes in 4 sports who were academically ineligible. 11 of them football players. The football team is placed on 2 years probation, and their scholarships are limited to a maximum of 79, 6 below normal for 2006 and 2007. Tech also has to erase their football records for 1998 through 2002 and the 2004 football season. This is the first NCAA probation in school history. And let me explain, erased does not mean forfeit. It means simply erased from the records. Hill is the lone setback on 1st and 10. Big stop Miami. Quick out pass goes to Moss. Sonoris takes it out across the 30 to the 32-yard line. And here are the seasons. And let me explain one other thing. When you look at the vacated seasons, the number will stay at 79. It does not necessarily mean that Georgia Tech has to give up 6 scholarships per year. Depends on how many seniors and how many juniors they have. And that's how it plays out. They are going to appeal, probably, I am told. 2nd down and short. Pass zipped it complete at the 40. Got that one to Darnell Jenkins. We talked about they've been going to him more. Even though Sonoris Moss is healthy again, Jenkins has proven he's got to be one who gets the ball frequently.
And Ron, it is all about pass protection when you play a zone blitz team. You see how they play off man-to-man or zone coverage? They're going to let you have the ball short. The key is pass protection.
Again, Hill the lone setback, and they give it to him. And he'll go for short yardage, only a couple to around the 43-yard line. DeJuan Landry comes over to make the tackle. Also, Jerish Wilkinson was there. 5 seconds down to 4, so that's going to be the end of the opening quarter, and we'll take a timeout. Maybe a few shocked folks around the country into the first 15. 7-0 Tech. Well, we look into the night here at Orange Bowl Stadium. Period number 2 about to begin. This venerable old building has been through a lot of hurricanes. Wilma caused damage. Those lights we helped get up there from Musco because the light standards were a lot of them were damaged. You can see those light posts are not lit tonight. Portable lighting in here. Right. Going to try to scramble out, and he will be tackled at the 42. Onyabi, the redshirt freshman out of DeSoto, Texas. Number 94 is the man who got him.
Ron, you look at this Miami team, and you talk about a team that is a momentum team that just seizes momentum. Keep in mind, last week they were down 17-14 with 4:30 left in the first half. All of a sudden, they were up 34-17 with 1:18 left in the first half. They had 3 touchdowns in 2 minutes and 40 seconds and forced 2 turnovers. So they can be lethargic at times, but look out when it starts coming.
Third down, they need to take it across midfield to the 48. Here comes pressure again. Wright drills the ball, incomplete, thrown well in front of Darnell Jenkins. And I'll tell you, Miami's going to have to punt again. Wright might be a little unstable in the pocket because he was sacked twice in the first quarter and hurried 2 or 3 times.
And keep in mind, Ron, as talented as Cal Wright is, it is only his 10th start.
Another pass from center that was not the best, but a line drive kick that goes away from the return man, Brian Monroe. Boy, nice job. Pat Clark could not retrieve it. 41 yards in the punt. Now let's check in for a SportsCenter 30 and 30 update.
Ron, in a career marked by all kinds of accomplishments, a new high for Joe Paterno. Penn State going to a BCS Bowl after beating Michigan State 31-22 in East Lansing. Nittany Lions have a share of the Big Ten title and they win the tiebreaker because they defeated Ohio State. But the Buckeyes, on this touchdown by Antonio Pittman, knock off the Wolverines in the Big House 25-21. We'll have highlights at halftime. SportsCenter coming up after the game. ESPN News is always on television.
Okay, Reese, thanks very much, partner. 1st and 10. Play action to Chris Woods. Sets to throw. Ball. Johnson caught it. Did he come down in bounds? Yes. Wow. There was a flag at the line of scrimmage back on the opposite side of the field. 18 yards. Boy.
Wow.
Illegal. Receiver downfield, and here comes the rain.
You see Georgia Tech's plan, Ron, against tight man-to-man, run that receiver down the field like he's on a takeoff, and then bring him back to the ball. Here comes the rain.
76 in the offense was ineligible downfield. 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. Repeat first down.
Basharovich is the man who was flagged, and as we talk about, Brad Honeycutt is normally the starter there at that right tackle position. But he got in a hurry and headed downfield.
Wow.
And that erases an 18-yard grab by Johnson. It was simply magnificent. That's the first Georgia Tech penalty of the night. Chris Woods continues to operate at tailback, number 24. He gets it, little counterplay, not much there. Now they're going to have to be careful here because they're at the 12-yard line. You sure don't want to do anything silly, but you also don't want to punt it away and put Miami around midfield or inside of there to take the football. Merriweather made the tackle.
Chan Gailey does a great job on 3rd downs, Ron, protecting that football. Keep in mind, Georgia Tech only 6 sacks given up all year, which is unbelievable, and only 1 sack in the last 5 games. A lot of it because of play calling in these situations.
They only had 1 tonight, but it was a -11 on that play. Quick throw. Ball is tipped in the air, and at the 12-yard line falls harmlessly. Baraka Atkins. Number 98 is the man who got a hand up and hit it. Now it's 3rd down.
We talk about momentum in Miami as you see Atkins right here, right there, knock that ball up in the air. But you talk about momentum. Momentum usually starts for Miami, Ron, on defense.
Yeah.
And right now, this crowd in the Orange Bowl, even though it's raining, starting to feel it a little bit.
Not sure this crowd is feeding the rain. They've set through a lot of rainy ball games here in this stadium. 3rd down, and the line to make is out at the 26. Draw play. Woods fighting across the 15. A flag is down on the near side of the field. McIntosh made the stop on him. Well short of the 1st down. Going to have to come back and do it again.
I said this before, but Miami's defense.
Illegal formation. Less than 7 on the line of scrimmage. By the offense. Penalties declined.
Well, they don't have to do it again. They obviously will decline that and have to punt it away.
And Devin Hester, Miami's great punt returner, Ron, not playing because of a hamstring injury up at Virginia Tech 2 weeks ago.
Darnell Jenkins is the man who's back there. He's become the all-everything. Good coverage kick. Very high. Fair catch, no fair catch called for, and the tackle made immediately at the 46 by Chris Reese. 36 on the punt. 7-0 Georgia Tech. We'll be right back. Here is an interesting note. Plays of 10 yards or better in the ball game. Georgia Tech 6, Miami 1, and Georgia Tech actually should have 7 on that Calvin Johnson catch, but it was erased by a penalty. As you see the running play going for 5 yards right up the middle. Reese Davis, let's check back with you.
Ron, LSU and Ole Miss, because Ole Miss hasn't played well this season. A lot of people don't know about Patrick Willis, second in the country in solo tackles. He's as good a linebacker as you'll find, and Justin Benson is introduced rather rudely to the Ole Miss linebacker. Oh, one-step wrap, two-step squeeze, and bring your feet. But LSU does have a touchdown, 9-0 there. Head ball coach up on Clemson, 6-3.
I'll tell you what, Patrick Willis, buddy, he better be the best in that conference. Anybody else, they need to put him in chains.
That pass incomplete, looking for Hill, and it's going to be a 3rd down, and they'll need about 4.5 yards for the first.
And Ron, it really doesn't surprise me that Miami's off to a little bit of a weeks on the road, both night games at Virginia Tech, at Wake Forest, the Wake Forest game in the afternoon, home late, but also great atmosphere at Virginia Tech. Sometimes playing here in the Orange Bowl, you don't have that same atmosphere. This team a little bit flat right now.
So it's 3rd down, and as we said, they have to go to the 42-yard line. Here comes a blitz. They're bringing everybody. The pass is complete to Moss. If he gets outside, it's trouble. He was not able to, and he is not going to have the first down. Going to miss it by about a half a yard as Dennis Davis made the tackle. And now, Bob, do you go for it on 4th down?
First of all, let's take a look at this little screen pass to Sonoris Moss right here. Reuben Houston comes in, makes an aggressive play. Sets up the 4th and 1. I think he's going to go for it right here.
Well, nope, at the last minute. At the last minute, Brian Monroe is going to come on. He is the punter. Of course, everybody's got a fake.
And you want to go for it, but think of Miami's defense, how stifling they can be, and it's a field position football game. Good decision made by his head right here, not his heart.
Georgia Tech has come close, but they don't get there on this one. High hanging spiral is going to bound at the 10, and now it takes a Miami bounce and goes out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. So we'll take a timeout. 11:06 until halftime. Georgia Tech 7-0.
College football prime time, brought to you by Aflac. Buy your 2005 Aflac Holiday Dock at aflac.com. And smooth and refreshing Bud Light. Great taste, great time.
We've been talking about the rain here in Miami. As you well know, and if you don't, there's a storm named Gamma that is in the Gulf. Good news late this afternoon. That storm is looking more like it is not going to come into the southern tip of Florida, that it'll go south of there. Pass for Johnson. Did he catch it in bounds? No. Caught the ball, but just a little bit too close to the sideline.
I'll tell you what, he's a highlight tape even when he doesn't catch it. Watch this effort right here as Reggie Ball throws it into traffic. That is a great adjustment. And how about the hand-eye coordination? Great effort. That guy's 6'4", 220 pounds with that kind of body control.
Second down and 10. Blitz coming off the corner, and that's where Reggie Ball gets hit. They brought him from that side, and Marcus Maxey was in the backfield. All of a sudden, Reggie Ball looked up and he said, "Whoa, where did you come from?"
And Randy Shannon, the defensive coordinator, learned. You're going to get a look at Marcus Maxey if we go ahead and roll at the corner. Last year, Georgia Tech beat them with quarterback runs. That time he brings Marcus Maxey on the corner fire. No chance on that play. Great call by Randy Shannon.
Sure open field tackle by Maxey. 3rd down. And now Tech needs to take the ball out to the 19-yard line. Choice, the tailback, lined up 5 yards deep in his own end zone. Straight ahead, 1 yard, and that's it. They'll be punting with a line of scrimmage at their own 3. Kareem Brown saw to it he didn't go any further.
Ron, let's go back to the 4th down opportunity Miami had. You see why Larry Coker made that decision to punt the football and let his defense play the field position game.
Ben Arndt stands with a foot very close to the end line. The 3rd time he's had to punt tonight. Let's see if Miami comes after it. Here's the boot. Jenkins is the deep man on the run. Gets a lucky bounce. 42. Retreats all the way back to the 48. And here he comes. There's a wall. And he's going to be tackled by the punter. Ben Arndt inside the 25-yard line. 39 on the punt, 17 on the return. Ben Arndt saying, I did it. I don't want to have to do it again.
And you mentioned earlier, Darnell Jenkins, a 10-400 meters, gets an excellent block right there, makes his way to the wall, and he's going to take some razzing by his teammates because that is a punter right there in the open field. That's a great job. That's 10-400 meters against probably 12-400 meters.
Joe Gaston on the special teams for Tech. Lucky he didn't get a 15-yard penalty for that elbow into the head late. Quick pass in the flat, overthrown, intended for Hill, his fullback.
But I go back, Ron, to patience. Patience in coaching sometimes is the best attribute to have. Larry Coker, just a minute ago, faced with 4th and 1. Didn't go for it, didn't get greedy, punted the football, and look where he has the football back at the 24-yard line. That's patience right there.
Look at those numbers. 5th season at Miami, averaging over 10 wins a season, 3-1 in bowl games. Buck Ortega, the tight end, flips over to the right side, lines up in the slot. They go with the tailback, and I tell you, Charlie Jones has not really been a factor so far tonight, as Eric Henderson on that defensive end spot is there to make the tackle immediately.
I'll tell you what, Eric Henderson, you're going to see him get penetration in the backfield from the backside, tracks that thing down. But Eric Henderson missed 4 games with an ankle, took it personal that he wasn't on any All-ACC preseason teams because he's a 2-time All-ACC guy. You can see why they say he's the key to this front.
Keep an eye at the top of your screen. Out to the right, number 8, Darnell Jenkins. 3rd down, and Miami needs the 14. They're 0 of 5 on 3rd down conversions. Blitz right up the middle, pass over the middle. Had a man there, didn't turn around, and was almost intercepted. Sonoris Moss, the ball was there before he realized, and Dennis Davis is the man who had a shot at it.
And that could have, maybe should have been a touchdown. You're going to watch Sonoris Moss go right up the seam right here against 3 deep coverage. The ball a little bit late thrown, Ron, and Sonoris Moss obviously not looking back expecting that football. He was open early.
Yep. So John Petty, his long as 49. He is 11 of 16 this year. And Miami calls a timeout. And we'll take the timeout with them. 8:34 left until halftime. Tech 7-0. Canes trying to get on the board. So we are back. 8:34 remaining until halftime. And Tech leads it by 7. Miami trying to cut it to a 4-point ball game. Plenty of distance and plenty of accuracy. We got a 7-3 ball game. John Petty.
And that's key, Ron, because last week against Wake Forest, John Petty missed 2 extra points uncharacteristically in that ball game. Great bounce back right here, and he drilled this one.
So what do you have to do? Put an asterisk by the play that Ben Arndt made. He saved a touchdown when he got inside the wall. Otherwise, Sonoris would have been down there cheering with his teammates.
And we're talking about the punter and that big tackle on Darnell Jenkins on that punt return.
Yes, sir. Yeah, not Sonoris. You're exactly right. It would have been Jenkins.
Guy looks like a tackler, doesn't he? Looks like a defensive player.
Well, it messed up his hair, if that's what.
I'll tell you what, those arms kind of flailed away from his body right there prior to impact. But I'll tell you what, that was a big lick.
He's still talking about it, too.
You know, I didn't want a kill shot. I just wanted to break down to make sure I wrapped my arms. So the situation 7-3, about the midway point of this second quarter. In Miami, well, they knew it coming in. A lot of them did, and maybe some of the players didn't. They're in for a football game tonight, and they better be prepared for that, because Tech is very well prepared on both sides of the football. As Monroe prepares to kick it off, Grant, one of the deep men.
Notice those shadows, Ron, on the field. One thing when I coached, can tell how good the lights are by how limited the shadows are. There's some long shadows out there on that football field as you look at those Miami players.
McGuire's the other deep man back there, very high. And this is a spinner. Going to come down to McGuire, the 3-yard line. 15, 20. High stepper takes it all the way out to around the 28. And our Miller highlight moment in time takes us back to Miami's first game of the season against Florida State, September the 5th. Kyle Wright making his first start at quarterback. Boy, he was sacked 9 times in this ball game. In the second quarter, Wright hits Ryan Moore for a 34-yard touchdown that made the score 10-7. But with 2:12 remaining, Miami's field goal attempt was botched. FSU wins 10-7 and hands Miami their only loss of the season. Seen a lot of poses by head coaches in that stadium on missed field goals between Coach Bowden and some opposing coaches as well. Reese Davis, let's check in with you. Haven't heard from you in a while, buddy.
Ron, we'll check in now on LSU and Ole Miss, and the Bayou Bengals taking a step closer toward that SEC championship game. Still have Arkansas next week. Joseph Adai scoring against the Rebels. Les Miles' team on top and bought Hemingway 16-0. And Oregon is slapping around Oregon State. Remember, the Ducks went down 50-21 last year. Looks like Bilatti's trying to repay the favor.
Talk about one-loss teams. How about LSU? We did that game on Monday night when they were up 21-0, lost to Tennessee. What are the odds Tennessee could beat LSU right now? I don't think it would happen. That's another great one-loss team.
Choice gets the pitch back, tries to turn the corner. Boy, that is great pursuit by Glenn Cook. Sophomore out of Hollywood, Florida. Really focused player, and he showed what kind of lateral speed he has.
We also see the kind of depth Miami has. Glenn Cook, the backup linebacker behind Rocky McIntosh. They play a lot of players, Ron, on that front seven. They wear you down as the game goes on.
I'll tell you what I love. Randy Shannon, the defensive coordinator. One of the things that they talk about, particularly in the secondary, lean and locate. Choice on third down, needs to take it to the 39. Here comes the pressure, going to have to hustle out of the pocket, throws this one away. Heavy pressure, Orion Harris. Holly Rowe, let's check on the sideline with you.
Well, guys, you're talking about how many players they play on defense here for Miami. Against Virginia Tech in that big upset of the ranked team, they play 25 different guys on defense. Now, Randy Shannon does it for a couple of reasons. One, to keep their legs fresh, and you can see fresh legs, especially on pursuit like we just saw against Reggie Ball. But secondly, he said it prevents a star system from forming. All these guys feel like they're in it together. No one guy stands out, and they are certainly playing team defense.
Okay, Holly. Here comes the punt. Fair catch called for at the 26-yard line and is made. 39 yards in the punt. You know, to further what Holly was talking about, Randy Shannon really does guard against that sort of thing where somebody could have an opportunity to get the big head, because he himself will not look at stats and reflect them to the team. He says those numbers many times are not always true.
Talk about a great fit. Randy Shannon played linebacker here at Miami under Jimmy Johnson at about 220 pounds. He's down to about 190 pounds now. Also played with the Dallas Cowboys. He's been around a bunch of players, and he knows about team chemistry because he coached a long time with Jimmy Johnson and Butch Davis.
Yeah, he's big on that. He not only preaches it, but he acts it out. Short running play right here with Charlie Jones. Chris Reese will step up into the pocket to make the hit.
Another reason that he plays so many players on defense. If you ever go to Miami's practices, some schools don't believe in hitting during the season. Come out on Wednesdays and see what the defense does.
And I'll tell you what, when I was coaching, the NFL scouts would always come around and they would talk in awe, Ron, about the Miami practices. Not the games, but the competition in those Miami practices.
Exactly. That's the reason the backups are so good. Wright's going to go on top. One-on-one coverage and incomplete. At the 30, looking for Ryan Moore. Covered by Kenny Scott. And the partisans here would like to see a flag, and the officials say, no, that's a no call.
And how about Kenny Scott from Florida? Turned down Miami. He was offered a scholarship. They're bumping a little bit, but let him play. Excellent no call right there. But Kenny Scott back home in Florida, Ron. Where's number 2? Deion Sanders, his idol. How many guys across this country wear number 2 because of Deion Sanders?
You're right. Daytona Beach is where he's from. Played at Seabreeze High School. And Miami now with a third down. They have not committed a third down conversion tonight. 0 for 6. Wright going to go deep over the middle. That's going to be intercepted. No, it is dropped, and he just threw it up for grabs. Dennis Davis is the man who should have had the pickoff.
And I'll tell you one thing, John Tenuta got Reuben Houston back, and it didn't take long. He's blitzed him about 3 or 4 times tonight off that slot. Keep in mind, Reuben Houston didn't practice until Wednesday. That's a great effort right there, but John Tenuta taking advantage of all weapons, Ron.
Here comes the boot. It's a line drive kick. Fumble or muff the ball. Recovered by Georgia Tech at the 26-yard line. Jones gets on the football, 43 yards in the kick, and I said Georgia Tech. It is going to be their football, they say now, at the 27-yard line. So it was muffed, cannot be advanced, but was recovered and saved by Jones.
What a great effort right there by DJ Jones, that's played a lot in the secondary, particularly last week against Wake Forest. That was a key recovery right there.
No question. First down and 10. Clock shows 5:41 to play first half. Deshard Choice, the tailback, but they'll use him to block. And here's a pass to Johnson, complete for about 8 yards at the 35.
And I'll tell you what, you see an NFL matchup right there, Kelly Jennings, but football 101, Ron, how you beat man-to-man coverage, the deep comeback route. Just about every ball Calvin Johnson has caught tonight has been run the defensive back down the field, make him think you're going deep, throw the ball underneath him, just like that, because the DB has to respect you running by him on the deep ball.
I can promise you that pass caught right in front of the Miami bench. Those guys were standing there saying, yeah, he could play for us. He could play for us big time. That running play is going to go for about 1 short of the first down. Holly Rowe, let's check back with you.
Well, guys, last year in this game, Calvin Johnson was just a freshman, but he was shut down, just 2 catches for 10 yards. And after that game, he realized he just wasn't strong enough physically to take that bump and run coverage and the jamming at the line. He dedicated himself in the workout room, gained about 10 pounds of muscle, but guys, not just getting stronger physically, he says he's got to get stronger mentally. He said, I've just realized lately, I've just got to get plain old meaner out there on the football field. You can see him blocking well downfield and trying to be more of a physical presence tonight.
Okay, Holly, great job. You know, Bob, he is truly an all-airport, as the expression goes.
And I tell you what, you're right. I mean, when he gets off that plane or gets off that bus, he looks as good as you can look. But I think Chan Gailey gave him the biggest compliment, said he's the best wide receiver he's ever had. Keep in mind, he coached Michael Irvin at Dallas. That's a pretty strong compliment.
So we are back on what has been a partially clear and then rainy evening in Miami. The rain has gone away. Right now it's a third down at about 1.5 yards needed by Georgia Tech. Choice will not get the handoff. They fake it to him, and it's to the tight end, overthrown. George Cooper was there. And boy, Reggie Ball would like to have that one back. They got the single coverage, but Big George was open.
They wanted to go to George Cooper, but number 1, Kenny Phillips, the freshman DB right here, is going to jam up the tight end at the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 1. Chan Gailey takes a shot right there. As long as he doesn't hold him, Ron, he can bump him. Good no call.
Oh, here comes the kick, wobbly spiral. Jenkins on the run, got away from him, and now a big Georgia Tech roll. It's going to be Miami scrimmaging just inside their own 10-yard line. Tomorrow night on ESPN, the Chiefs need a win to keep pace in the AFC West race as they take on the Houston Texans, looking for an upset. Chiefs and Texans tomorrow night, 8:30 on ESPN. It's also available in high definition on ESPN HD.
And no surprise, the kind of defense Georgia Tech is playing. This is a good Georgia Tech defense. They're 19th in the country in total defense. They were 12th last year on. Have not given up 400 yards to any opponent this year.
Well, we said that Tenuta might give this young man trouble, and he has. Look, 5 of 14. That is what he has completed tonight, only 31 yards. And this is the longest run from scrimmage by Charlie Jones. Charlie out close to the 19-yard line, tackled by DeJuan Landry.
Charlie Jones got his opportunity up at Virginia Tech, had 97 yards on 24 carries, followed it up last week with 90 yards. One thing at Miami, Ron, they always replace guys that leave, whether it's to the NFL draft or whether it's the injury. There's always a guy waiting in line.
6 carries for 19 yards for him. There you see Winston, the big tackle. They move him over actually to the tight end position on the left side, and they take the ball the other direction. It'll be enough for the first down with Jones, and Landry again with a tackle. And I'm going to tell you something. We got to get a new pit crew or something. Charlie, you remember Virginia?
Exactly.
He can't keep his headgear on.
Exactly. He lost that helmet about 5 times up there. I know you love this story. His dad owns a landscaping business. This guy is a premier golf grass cutter right here. I'm talking about Charlie. His dad makes him work, and that's a good thing.
Probably one of the reasons that the coaches say his work ethic is so good on the practice field. He'll hand it to him again, takes it to the left side and powers forward for about 3 yards. We're under 3 minutes until halftime. Holly Rowe, let's check in with you.
Well, guys, you're right. Charlie said he grew up cutting lawns from about the age of 10, and his dad would make him work 10-hour days, and he would work 6 days a week. He got such a great work ethic, but he said it also taught him that when he grows up, the only thing he wants to do with his hands for work, something to do with football.
That's right, Holly. And you know, it gives you a greater appreciation for practice may not be quite as hard when you've been working 10-hour days. Right, drills the ball, has it complete at the 39-yard line to Ryan Moore. The junior out of Orlando with a big first down here.
You see Ryan Moore came to life last week with 4 catches against Wake. They take a page out of Georgia Tech's playbook, Ron, with that deep comeback route against man-to-man.
You know what? That is the longest pass play by Miami tonight, 15 yards.
One thing typically Georgia Tech, a zone defense team, they don't normally give up big plays, Ron.
Georgia Tech showing blitz off the corner right now, possibly with an audible. And here they come. Blitz off that top corner. Going to go on top, fade route. Got single coverage. Caught it, but was he in bounds? Yes. And they say out of bounds at the 24-yard line, Ryan Moore. 37 yards.
I'll tell you, we've been talking so much about Calvin Johnson. How about Ryan Moore right here? Is that a tremendously thrown ball? And also the concentration. I mean, that ball thrown over the outside shoulder by the sideline. That's what the quarterback's taught to do, because the only guy that could make a play was the 6'3" Ryan Moore.
Dennis Davis was as close to him as you could be without having pass interference. Here comes a draw play. Big opening for Hill, and then it closes up quickly. Tackled at the 19. Clock runs with 1:28, now 1:27. Miami trails by 4 and would love nothing more than to put a touch on the board to go in at halftime.
Well, I go back to last week against Wake. Miami down 17-14, 4.5 minutes left in the half, and all of a sudden, bang, Ron, 3 touchdowns in 2 minutes and 40 seconds before the half.
106, now 105. Blitz coming off the low corner this time. Pass over the middle, complete at the 5, and it'll be a touchdown, Sonora Smalls.
And you have to wonder, Ruben Houston on the field for the first time this season. And right here, if we freeze it, it's just man-to-man coverage. This is Ruben Houston, number 9. Keep in mind, he has not practiced at all this season until Wednesday. They've been blitzing him, but he's not going to cover Sonoris Moss, Ron, particularly without ever practicing.
I'll tell you, that is a 90-yard drive. The ball started just on the other side of the 10 as the extra point attempt is up and good by Petty. And with 57 ticks on the clock until halftime, 10-7 ball game. Reese Davis, let's go back to the studio. What do you got for us?
All right, Ron, coming up on the Pontiac Performance halftime report, Lou and Mark alongside a big day, a BCS day for Joe Paterno. A big finish in the big house as Nittany Lions share the Big Ten title with Ohio State. And the Iron Bowl, a defense dominated, but maybe not the one you would expect.
And Ohio State displayed all the qualities of a champion and justified the reason why they may be a BCS team.
There's a player on Ohio State, the head coach of Michigan, Lloyd Carr, just twitches when he hears that name. Troy Smith, Troy Smith.
We'll also take you to East Lansing, where Chris Fowler and the College Game Day gang standing by with reaction to Joe Paterno's victory over Michigan State.
Okay, gentlemen, as you can imagine, the Orange Bowl is very noisy right now. Those that are sitting out here enduring the rain, they're having a good time because all of a sudden their Hurricanes, number 3 in the BCS standings, are up 10-7, and we have 57 seconds left until halftime.
Ron, you go back, Ruben Houston, number 9, 2-year starter at corner for Georgia Tech. He is their best cover guy, but to put him in that situation is very difficult. Man-to-man coverage on Sonoris Moss. That's a tough situation to put him in.
So let's see what kind of kickoff they get from Brian Monroe. Xavier McGuire and Rashawn Grant are the 2 deep men. This is long and a spinner. It's going to go 5 yards deep, and they'll take it over at the 20. Monday Night Countdown brings you all of the latest news and notes from around the NFL leading up to kickoff of Monday Night Football. Monday Night Countdown delivered by UPS, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. And then join Al Michaels and John Madden at historic Lambeau Field. Brad Johnson and the Vikings take on Brett Favre and the Packers. Minnesota Green Bay, Monday Night Football, 9 o'clock Eastern on ABC.
And this Miami defense starting to dance a little bit out there on that field, Ron. And they start dancing. You better look out now.
Just make sure they don't dance in your backfield.
Yeah, that's the next step.
That's Calais Campbell, who was outside on the left as the rush end. Choice and Woods in the backfield this time. Choice gets free. 20, 25, 30. Going to be a run of about 12 yards. Phillips, I believe, is the man who tripped him up, number 1. Also, Rocky McIntosh.
Rashard Choice runs hard. Reminds you a lot of P.J. Daniels, Georgia Tech starting tailback, who's out with a sternum injury.
You remember those early timeouts that Reggie Ball took? They'd love to have one right now as he has to throw this one away because they have no timeouts. That will stop the clock at 39 seconds. Moncure, number 94, Eric putting the pressure on, played right here in Miami at Carroll City. Chan Gailey. We talked in that early game, as you look at Big Eric, in that early game on the road at Auburn. He really did a marvelous job of calling plays in that ball game. Trying to keep this Miami defense off balance here this evening. Quarterback draw, hit behind the line of scrimmage, and redraw that one as Orion Harris, the junior out of Newark, Delaware, sacks him for the 2nd time tonight.
And Orion Harris, 6'4", 300 pounds. You look at Chan Gailey right there. Georgia Tech with no timeouts.
Take a shot deep here, do you?
A little surprised that Miami didn't call timeout there with about 20 seconds left in the half.
Yep, both of these teams are headed toward the locker room, 2-1, and we are at halftime. Down to Holly Roll with Larry Coker.
Well, Coach, just before your offense took the field for that long drive, you went over and got in the offensive line and some of the skill position space. What were you saying to your team?
Well, we just got to make some plays. We've had some opportunities, but we weren't making plays. Drop balls, some fourth throws. We got beat on some protection a few times. We just got to get back and play our game, be consistent. 2
sacks, your protection seemed to be a problem. How do you fix that in the second half?
Well, we got to correct it. Their defense is good. They've got 10 starters back. We knew that. They're good at pass rushing and do a lot of schemes at us, but we just got to stand in and do a good job and make the plays.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Holly.
Ron?
Thanks, Holly. Our halftime score, Miami 10 and Georgia Tech 7. Let's join Reese Davis in the studio for the Pontiac Performance halftime report. Reese?
All right.
Here comes the next contestant. I wish you'd do it again. There goes the next contestant.
So welcome back to Miami, and here are the first half numbers. Bob, what jumps out at you most?
What jumps out is Georgia Tech only with 95 yards total offense. You can see they're capable, and actually it seemed like they had more yardage. Reggie Ball started out 3 for 3, then went 2 of 10. Miami cooled him down.
What's really amazing,
the other one, Ron, excuse me, is Miami 0 for 7 on third down conversions, which proves again Miami has to keep the pressure off the young quarterback Al Wright against this Georgia Tech blitzing defense.
I think that opening drive on the part of Georgia Tech was somewhere in the vicinity of 68 yards, and then from that point on, that's the opening drive of the football game, they were held to 27 yards for the remainder of the first half of play. I think it says that, yes, this Miami defense is aroused. This is Grant. Far sideline, 25-30. And finally going to be stopped at the 32-yard line. So I guess the biggest question is, Miami is so good at doing this, wrestling momentum away, as Bob made the point in that first half. Do you think that they have totally wrestled the momentum away, or is Tech still there and can get this one?
I think Georgia Tech was glad halftime came because Miami had momentum. I think it's really critical for Georgia Tech, Ron, to throw the ball down the field on running downs. They're going to have to continue to run the ball on passing downs because of Miami's defensive pressure, but throw the ball down the field on run downs. But when you have a shot here for Georgia Tech, you better take it because you're not going to get many.
Here they roll that pocket. Ball drills it, has it complete. Dunlap, Chris Dunlap, the number 5 receiver.
We may get a late hit on Nanton, the defensive end, Javon Nanton, 57, Ron.
Well, if that's the case, that's going to be a 28-yard play instead of 13 yards.
Wow. Obviously a poor decision by Javon Nanton.
So 13 on the pass completion. And then add the 15 yards. Chris Dunlap, a junior out of Miramar, Florida. You could see that Larry Coker obviously was not real pleased with the play by Nanton. From the 40. Blitz coming. They try to set up the screen. Throws that one way away. Holly Rowe, let's check down on the sideline with you.
I checked in with Chan Gailey at halftime for Georgia Tech. He said that the key to the second half will be moving Reggie Ball. You've already seen on 2 consecutive plays here, they're rolling him out of the pocket. He's concerned about that push Miami is getting up front. He said our offensive line is struggling to handle that push, so look for us to move the pocket. Also, he said we've got to stay out of 3rd and long. They're just loading up on us, blitzing, killing us. That's their primary objective.
Okay, Holly. And you know, Bob, that would seem like the most natural thing, that you can't let them dictate it. With 3rd and long, they certainly can dictate.
And you like that they did throw the ball twice here on running downs. 1st and 10 coming out of the locker room.
Choice, big opening, and he is going to squirt his way through for about 7 yards. And it'll be 3rd down. Greg Threet, a senior out of Tallahassee, Lincoln, made the tackle.
I'm impressed with Tashard Choice. Keep in mind, he played behind Adrian Peterson at Oklahoma. probably the #1 reason why Tashard Choice decided to transfer. No, seriously, he's from Atlanta, and because of a hardship, was immediately eligible this year. Strong lower body on that young man.
You saw his cutting ability back in the first half. Third down, they need to take it to the 30. You see the blitz coming, pass delivered, had to get rid of it because Reggie was about to get leveled, and you see him saying to the referee that I took a shot to my head. Cook is the man that he thought got to him, and judge for yourself here.
And keep in mind, you cannot use the helmet as a weapon. That could have been called. That was helmet to helmet. Did he use the helmet as a weapon? Doesn't matter if it's the top of the helmet or the face mask. Obviously a judgment call, but that call really being reinforced this year across college football. Surprised that wasn't called, Ron.
Ben Arndt stands back to punt. Here's the boot. It's a pooch kick, very high. Not real long, but it's perfect for the situation, and is going to bound out of bounds inside the 10-yard lines. Take a look at Game Track and what occurred in that first half. Calvin Johnson, 4 receptions, 48 yards, deep comebacks with great agility like that. But here's the touchdown pass over the middle to Moss. She defeated Reuben Houston. And then the play of the defense is Eric Henderson with the tackle right there. Total yards 114 and 134 in the first 30 minutes of play for the two clubs respectively. Boy, look, Miami has to scrimmage from their own 6-yard line. Arndt's done a good job tonight, punting and tackling. And short yardage for Charlie Jones. Philip Wheeler, redshirt sophomore out of Columbus, Georgia, who is tied for the lead on this ball club with interceptions. He has a total of 4. As we mentioned off the top of the telecast, this defense has 17 interceptions, which leads the Atlantic Coast Conference.
That is amazing. You talk about Philip Wheeler with 4 interceptions. They love his talent. They say he's still learning, but he's cut his mental errors. Bright future at Tech.
There are not many linebackers that have 4 interceptions in a year, even seniors. Yep, Charlie Jones again. Rotto, Mansfield Rotto, junior out of Snellville, Georgia, is there to make the stop. Now it's going to be 3rd down for Miami.
Let's keep in mind, Miami 0 for 7 run in the first half on 3rd downs. You got the whole defensive package right now if you're John Tenuta on 3rd down and 6. It will all be about pass protection right there if you're Larry Coker.
You know, you've had ball games like this. You preach and preach and preach to your kids. This is going to be a tough ball game. You're a huge favorite in the ball game, and you don't take the head coach seriously. And what happens to you? You struggle, just like Miami's doing tonight. See if they can make it 1 of 8. Yes, they do. There's the run. Charlie Jones will pick up the first 3rd down conversion of the night. They're now 1 of 8. Devon Landry made the stop.
Excellent block by Tony Tella, number 61. The big offensive guard just engulfs the linebacker, Philip Wheeler. How about the respect, though, by Miami for this Georgia Tech defense, Ron? On 3rd down and 6, run the football. Look for them right now, play action. Maybe take a shot down the field on a running down here.
3 of 8 for Georgia Tech, 1 of 8 for Miami. They fake the reverse, and the running play goes right up into the line. There's nothing there. K. Michael Hall is there to make the stop.
They are a penetrating defense. It's K. Michael Hall, the linebacker, run in the backfield right there. Stop that play before it ever got started.
Show the situation. Clock runs about to go under 11 minutes to play 3rd quarter. Miami 10. Georgia Tech 7. Deep in the pocket. Here comes pressure, and he is going to be sacked. That's Darrell Robertson. It's the 4th time that they have gotten to quarterback Kyle Wright this evening.
Again, pressure. All the linebackers coming, and Darrell Robertson, the defensive end, comes up with the sack. This kid was 205 pounds. John Tenuta calls him the stick man. I'm talking about Darryl Robertson.
First 2 games, 14 sacks. The last 7, 10, but 4 of them tonight. And in fact, this week, conversations here at Miami about how improved the offensive line was. You see the blitz coming right up the middle again. So Wright gets rid of it. Got man coverage overthrown at the 49. Ryan Moore is who he wanted. Kenny Scott with the coverage. He did not have time to think about anything else but get rid of it.
You mentioned it. Reuben Houston again coming on the blitz. You see him from the field. Ryan Moore. Just not enough time, Ron, for the quarterback to really set his feet and make an accurate throw.
Brian Monroe, the left footer, end over end on this one. From the 45 is Clark. And Pat will be hit after a gain of 5 on the return. 46 on the boot and 6 on the return. And it's Randy Phillips, who also plays the special teams, who made the tackle. But good field position for the Yellow Jackets. Well, not anymore. Didn't see the flag.
How many times do you see great field position affected by holds or block in the back? You know, Ron, sometimes I think as a coach, you ought to just say, you know what, we're going to fair catch this punt. I don't want anyone blocking because I don't want any penalties, and just take the good field position and run.
All right. I got a story when we come back about that.
This Rose Bowl moment is brought to you by...
Show the crowd, trying to get them pumped up here. One of the reasons Miami has outscored their opponent 74-7 in the 3rd quarter this year. Good field position, Georgia Tech, even though they had the penalty. From the 39, hit behind the line of scrimmage. That play is going to go absolutely nowhere. McIntosh on the tackle. Holly Rowe, what do you got for us?
Well, guys, receiver for Georgia Tech, Calvin Johnson, is back out on the field after missing the first series after halftime. He was kept in the locker room to get additional fluids. He is a little bit dehydrated. Now, this is another problem we saw him have against Auburn in the first game of the season. I can tell you it is very hot and sticky, humid down here on the field, and that may be one of the reasons. So we'll keep an eye on his endurance here in the second half.
Okay, Holly, I'm here to report that Bob has gone to the locker room for liquids as well. He's dehydrated. Short drop, quarterback draw. Called play. Tell you what, Reggie shows how strong he is. He's going to have a gain of 5 on that one. Reese Davis, let's check back at the studio with you.
All right, Ron, Taco Bell studio update. Clemson and South Carolina. James Davis, the freshman, scoring for Clemson. The Tigers converted a 1st and 35 on this drive, and they have the lead over Spurrier's Gamecocks 13-9, 5 and change to go in that one. LSU a 23-0 lead on Ole Miss. Game going on over on ESPN2.
Okay, Reese, thanks very much. Great hustle there. Bob, we had a late flag on sportsmanlike conduct was thrown in.
Ron, that's the second 15-yard penalty.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, excessive celebration. Number 50 and number 99. 15 yards. The play results in a first down.
Second 15-yard penalty of the second half. Right here at the end of it, becomes taunting right there. A little dancing going on. Can't tell what's said, but I think just the dancing right there.
McIntosh, and I think it was Kareem Brown, was it? Or
looked like Kareem Brown, 99.
Okay. I know Reggie Ball disagreed with how the play continued as you look at the penalty and the yards that have been stepped off. Then that dancing and taunting started, and that's when the flag was thrown. About to go into 9 minutes, 3rd quarter. Miami with a 3-point lead, and the Jackets beginning to threaten again. This is Choice right at the middle, big opening. Has 5, has 10, and count this one off at a gain of 13 yards. And I mean, this youngster is quick. First, and he is full speed.
And an excellent block by Matt Rhodes, number 61 on the linebacker, McIntosh. And Tashard Choice hits it north and south downhill. And Georgia Tech, Ron, must take advantage right now of this great field position. Boy, he runs hard, doesn't he?
I'm telling you. see Miami jamming up at the line of scrimmage. They got 8 in the box. Running play is just going to go for short yardage. His choice finds a spot. That's his choice, and he leaps forward for a couple. Tackled by Davis and also Baraka Atkins.
You see Reggie Ball.
That's Romeo Davis, excuse me, Bob, who's down, shaken up on the play.
Well, these are two really good defensive football teams out here on this field tonight.
I'm telling you, cramps, it would appear here, with them grabbing at the calves and also at the hamstring. We're going to take a break. 10-7 Miami.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Singular, raising the bar, and TD Waterhouse, the alternative to higher priced brokers.
It's amazing that today we watched Michigan, Ohio State. We watched Michigan State and Penn State, Notre Dame game, and everybody was bundled up. And tonight we got guys cramping up and leaving the field in numbers. Very interesting for late November. Here's the throw. Did Johnson get it? He went diving, and the official's going to say incomplete. Calvin Johnson with quite an effort. He is one of the youngsters who was cramping. Take another look.
And again, bump and run. Kelly Jennings getting his hands on again the deep comeback route. And what a great job by Kelly Jennings. Ron, at some point, Georgia Tech's going to run that little stutter comeback and go, because you see how quickly Kelly Jennings broke on that football. But this guy may be one of the most, I know he's one of the most underrated corners in all of college football, Kelly Jennings.
You know, it's interesting, you pick your poison, but sometimes it's best with a guy like Calvin Johnson, who's a long strider, to throw his timing off at the line of scrimmage rather than let him get into the pattern. There's the throw, got it complete, and the big fella is going to have the first down. Kelly Jennings, you can see, is right there on him, but it's a catch at a first down.
Keep in mind, Calvin Johnson, only a sophomore here. Bump and run coverage again. Again, kind of an up the field and then back underneath move. But again, the throw contested. Excellent throw by Reggie Ball. One thing about Miami's corners, they will challenge every throw, Ron. Make you thread the needle, because they're going to be up there bump and run. They're not backing off anywhere.
And the interesting thing about the competitiveness of these kids, they really get a charge out of the fact, hey, send your best guy at me. I want to see if I can match him.
Yeah, they do that in practice every day.
That's right. Quarterback draw, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Reggie Ball, and Georgia Tech goes back on top. 16 yards as Kenny Phillips had a shot at him and could not make the tackle.
And anytime you run the quarterback run, you're going to have to get a great block from your tailback. He's going to go through and block Marcus Maxey, 24. I'm talking about Desard Choice. Right now, he becomes the lead blocker. The count is out of the screen right there, but excellent call. And again, Reggie Ball last year hurt him with the quarterback run. That's the first time tonight, Ron.
Trying to make it a 4-point ball game, Travis Bell. And he does right down the middle. So 7-17 left in the third. New score. Georgia Tech 14 at the Hurricanes 10. Reggie Ball, what a competitor. 7 plays, 61 yards. Bob, take us through the touchdown.
Well, you talk about a great coaching adjustment. If you remember earlier in the game, Miami brought the corner on a blitz to take away the quarterback run. Again, Miami's going to bring the corner, Marcus Maxey, but watch the block of Tashard Choice right there. That's a great coaching adjustment, because earlier in the game, the corner blew up the quarterback run. This time they put the tailback Tashard Choice on the corner and touchdown.
So in case he did come out of blitz again, they had somebody there to greet him. Reggie Ball took exception with that tackle when the unsportsmanlike conduct was called, and it looked as though he was a little, that play had a little mustard on it. From the 20 out to the 40-yard line is James Bryant. So let's take a look at the Dr. Pepper standings in the Atlantic Coast Conference. What is so important about this ball game tonight? Well, you see Virginia Tech and Miami with 1 loss apiece. Georgia Tech at 4-3 in the conference. But of course, Miami won in head-to-head competition. But Virginia Tech only has 1 conference loss with 1 game to play. As you look at the Atlantic, BC, Florida State won head-to-head, so they are in the championship game. And Andrew Johnson is in the lineup for the first time tonight, number 32, a sophomore out of Pittsburgh, and they really like him. But they go play action with him, and he's got to be sacked at the 34-yard line by K. Michael Hall.
And I'll tell you what, when you run play action on 1st and 10, the difficult thing sometimes in play action is to protect. And again, I mean, they come with the linebacker blitz. They bring both inside linebackers up the gut. And how about this Georgia Tech defense, Ron? I mean, they were causing havoc.
5 times that they've gotten to him tonight. The high water mark, of course, all Miami fans know, was 9 against Florida State. 2nd down and 15. You see the safety blitz coming. And oh boy, the quarterback is hit as he throws it complete at the 49-yard line. And Kyle Wright is right back up as Leggett made the catch. That is a tough young man. He got leveled again.
And Landry, the safety, comes on a safety blitz. Watch number 20 right here. And the courage, Ron, of Kyle Wright to step up and make that throw because Landry was in his face.
Boy, I'm telling you.
Lance Leggett on the catch in front of Kenny Scott, but the courage of that quarterback.
3rd and inches, and he's going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage. Decision time. Philip Wheeler came in and spoiled the play on Deron Thomas, who had just checked in, number 21, a redshirt freshman out of Coral Gables. And Larry Coker's not going to take a chance here. Down by 4 points. He's going to kick it away at the 5:30 mark of the 3rd quarter.
I mean, the backside, Philip Wheeler, the linebacker, just tracks that thing down, forces Miami to punt.
Brian Monroe, 7th time that he's punted tonight. Here's the boot. Not a good spiral. Line drive and returnable, but look at the coverage by Miami. That is a great job as they tackle immediately, and it's going to be Bruce Johnson who is the man who makes the stop. 33 on the punt, but nothing on the return. Here's tonight's Aflac Trivia question. Since the inception of the BCS in 1998, what school has played in the most BCS bowl games? Here's a hint. Check the ESPN College Football Encyclopedia section under the bowls. That answer coming up a little bit later on.
I wonder if that's a hint right there. With that national champion banner up there for Miami on our Aflac question.
Could be. 1st and 10 inside their 20. Here's Choice. Nothing to the left. Tries to bounce it outside, and that's where that speed on the part of Miami's defense. Merriweather that time. You try to go east and west, and they're tough to maneuver against.
Well, there is some speed on this football field on the defensive side tonight. And Merriweather, a unique guy. They call him kind of an old school Miami DB. A little bit undersized. He plays safety. Probably be a corner in the NFL. This guy's a heck of a football player now.
He's out of Apopka, Florida. 6'1", 188. Tashard Choice again is the tailback. Ball steps up, drills it, and he's got it complete at the 30-yard line to James Johnson, and that's enough for the Georgia Tech 1st down. It's good for 15 yards.
And that time, Brandon Merriweather, we say he's a safety, but he's going to be locked up in coverage. You're going to see Merriweather come into the screen right now. Man-to-man coverage on James Johnson. Tries to strip that football out of there.
Greg Threet checks into the ball game, number 5, senior out of Tallahassee. He's one of the extra defensive backs. On 1st and 10, you see the blitz off the corner, and Choice gets tripped up as he heads back into the left guard area. Orion Harris got an arm out. Also, Cook was there.
Ron, I want to go back to your point you made about football being played in all kinds of different weather. I know you're starting basketball shortly, but this is what separates the men from the boys, football from basketball. You do play in all kinds of weather, and you got to give so much credit to these players, how hard they play every week in college football. It really is amazing.
Second down, here comes the blitz again. Picked up nicely by Choice, and the pass is caught by George Cooper. Reese Davis, what do you got for us?
In the Palmetto State run, the battle between Clemson and South Carolina, and Tommy Bowden does it to Steve Spurrier. Clemson wins it 13-9. Spurrier now 9-11-1 all-time against Bowden. 0-1 against Tommy. LSU beating up on Ole Miss 26-0. Bayou Bengals beat Arkansas next week. They're on the way to the SEC title game.
Okay, Reese, thanks very much. In our ball game, Tech leads at 14-10. Georgia Tech with 11 plays tonight of 10 yards or better against the nation's best defense. Ball zips it, has it complete across the midfield stripe. That's Demarius Bilbo, and the first time that we've seen him tonight. 18 yards, so make it 12 plays of 10 or better.
Demarius Bilbo, the former quarterback. But how about the throw by Reggie Ball? But Demarius Bilbo steps up, runs the slant route. Ron, this guy was a quarterback. He has 32 catches this year, only 4 all last year. But how about Reggie Ball at only about 5'8", stepping up in that pocket and just throwing a shot.
Bilbo out of Moss Point, Mississippi is 6'3", 220. Here's Choice, breaks a tackle, breaks another, puts a head down, and he's going to have about 7 yards on this play. Merriweather along with Ponder combining on the stop. And Holly Rowe, let's bring you into this conversation.
Well, guys, Shard Choice obviously getting the start tonight because of the injury to P.J. Daniels. And Reggie Ball, his quarterback, said this week, he's the kind of guy that just won't shut up. Sometimes you want him to shut up, but he doesn't. But that's a good thing for our team. I think what he means by that, guys, is he is a constant energy. He does it when he runs. He plays hard. He keeps those legs moving, and he hasn't shut up yet on the football field either so far.
No, I'll tell you what, and his critics won't shut up probably after this ball game tonight. Holly, he's really been impressive. Blitz comes from the outside. Ball gets it away. It's going to be short. Incomplete. Bilbo was the intended receiver, but Ponder was there with the pressure.
Big 3rd down and 4, and I can't help but think back in Blacksburg, Virginia tonight. Frank Beamer, Bud Foster, that Virginia Tech coaching staff, they're probably back from the trip to Virginia saying, all right, 3rd down and 4. Come on, Reggie Ball, make a play right here.
Pulling for Reggie right now in Blacksburg. You're exactly right. 3rd down. They need to take it to the 36-yard line. Chris Woods in at tailback. Pressure backside. Ball is knocked away. And they're very fortunate they did not have a flag thrown on Kelly Jennings. Looked as though he had his arms wrapped around him as the ball got there. 4th down.
How about Kelly? I think Kelly's a little winded, but you mentioned normally in this situation, Ron, you get pass interference. You see the pressure on the backside. Eric Moncourt, they're right here. I mean, Kelly Jennings working his tail off out there. Good no call, let him play. I mean, the guy's 6 inches taller than Kelly Jennings. Give him a chance.
7th punt of the night by Georgia Tech. It's going to bound, take a Miami bounce, but it is very tough. 18-yard line is where they will scrimmage. Well, here's the answer to tonight's Aflac trivia question. Since the inception of the BCS in '98, what school has played in the most BCS bowl games? The Florida State Seminoles, 5 games. They're 1-4 in those 5 games, though.
Miami, as you see right there, is a little bit deceptive because after that question, we went right to the banner in the stadium of Miami National Championship. That threw me off a little bit, as I'm sure it threw some viewers off out there watching this.
It may have.
Play is under review.
Okay. What?
Has to be where the ball went out of bounds as far as field position.
Okay, I hear you.
What's on this guy's mind is how do we protect and make a play against this blitzing, penetrating defense. Here you see the punt.
Well, even if it touched the Georgia Tech player, it still would be where it is now, the 18-yard line.
It almost looked to me, Ron, like it went out on the 19. Oh, no, it hit his foot right there.
Yeah, it sure did.
If we could go back at that other angle.
The clock did not start. Please set the clock to 1 minute, 10 seconds. 1-1-0.
Up for that.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a great tribute again to replay. I mean, that's 10 seconds. And how many football games you've seen this close that comes down to 10 seconds left in the game. And that's why you got to love instant replay.
Guaranteed Lloyd Carr would have gone for 10 more today. 1st and 10. And not much there for Charlie Jones as Wilkinson wraps him up.
You know, this Georgia Tech defense can run. And John Tenuto has them in an excellent scheme. They're not the biggest defense, but he takes advantage of their speed, quickness, and they're a smart defense. They understand this scheme that John Tenuto, as you see John up there in the press box, has put in.
Second down, about 6. The pass thrown quickly. Ryan Moore, the intended receiver, but it's off the mark. Holly Rowe will check back with you.
Well, Bob, you're talking about John Tenuto's defense and why they understand things. He has a very unique way of teaching them. I'm going to call it trash talk. He actually gets garbage cans and puts them out where the offensive players would be. He said this helps his players visualize what the formations are and why they're doing what they do on defense. He said because they understand why and where the stress points are on offensive plays, they're able to react and be that much better.
Well, Miami tonight only 1 of 10 on third down conversions. See if they can close the door on them again. They need to take it just beyond the 28. Here's pressure. Wright is going to be sacked. Wow. Philip Wheeler is the man who gets to him, and we're actually hearing some boos coming from this crowd.
We just call Tenuto the garbage man right now because those trash cans, whatever it is, it's working. You see the twist stunt up front. And also, again, he brought the safety Reuben Houston, number 9, on the blitz. But, I mean, he's bringing them all at him right now.
Well, they trashed Kyle Wright for the 6th time tonight. Driving wobbly spiral. Ball is muffed. They scramble for it. Still loose. And it would appear that Georgia Tech is on it back at the 26-yard line because Jamal Lewis was right there. Yeah, there's Jamal, number 6.
And you remember
Clark.
Excuse me, Ron. You remember my point a couple plays ago when Tech had the holding on the punt return. At some point, don't you just fair catch the football and take it if you're Georgia Tech?
4th quarter is next. Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Polaroid. I'm Ron Franklin along with Bob Davie and Holly Rowe from Miami, Florida. And our score right now as we head to the final 15. 4 fingers are up by both squads. Georgia Tech 14 and Miami 10.
Who do you think owns that 4th quarter salute? Every pro, college, high school team in the country does it. I don't think anybody has the advantage
I'd love to know who originated it. Choice hit behind the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be knocked down for a loss. So the one thing you don't want to do is play behind the chains against this defense, and they're going to right here with a 2nd down and 12. That was Calais Campbell, number 81, who came in to make the tackle for Miami. Big redshirt freshman out of Denver, and they really like this fella. 6'8", 253. I think he can put on a lot of weight and still maintain his quickness.
That's frightening to think about him, what he'll be in a couple of years.
Yeah. He needs to get a license. Calvin Johnson in motion. Deep in the pocket. Ball going to go deep over the middle. Has Johnson, and he made the catch at the 45-yard line, diving. That young man plays like he's 5'10" as far as body control when he's close to 6'5", and that's good for 32 yards.
Boy, and it started with pass protection. Miami comes with the linebacker blitz, and they step up to Shard Choice and picks it up. And then you get big Calvin Johnson again on Merriweather down the seam. But, Ron, that is a pretty picture of a big-time sophomore wide receiver. I'll tell you, he is a player.
Wow. I mean, that's fun to watch. We got a lot of good players both sides of the ball tonight that are fun to watch. That one right there is really special. Here's Choice. Bounces it to the outside. Going to have 3, maybe 4 yards.
And you talk about, in my opinion, the best wide receiver in the country, what makes him successful. First, he's 6'4", 220 pounds. Second, he's strong, I mean, particularly in the hands. Third, I think, is just his body control, Ron, which is phenomenal. And then the ball skills of this guy. I mean, this guy is the total package. And to put icing on the cake, they absolutely love him at Georgia Tech as a person. Off the field as well.
Good student, good person. You're exactly right. Plus being a sensational athlete. Play action. Boy, the man who is supposed to maintain, contain, not only stayed at home, but Reggie Ball said, you got to be shot out of a cannon. Reese Davis, let's check with you.
All right, Ron, on rivalry weekend, Jeff Tedford has never lost to Stanford Axe, and he's going to carry it home for the 4th time. Marshawn Lynch going in for Cal against Stanford, and Dirty Golden Bears 27-3 over the Cardinal, and the Oregon Ducks put 56 on Oregon State, and they're not done. Washington State wins the Apple Cup.
Wow, 56-14. 3rd down, line to make is the 33. Flag comes down. We're going to have a delay penalty, are we?
False start, 76 to the offense. 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. The remains 3rd down.
Kashirovich, who is substituting for Brad Honeycutt at tackle.
We look at Chan Gailey over there.
Patrick Nix, also former Auburn quarterback.
And Patrick Nix, the offensive coordinator by title, but Chan Gailey calls these plays. And I hope you can appreciate how hard it is to call plays against Miami and the speed of this defense, particularly on 3rd and 12.
Probably didn't have a long list on this. George Cooper in motion. Look at the pressure coming from the outside. Got one-on-one coverage. Far sideline. Here comes a flag as the ball has been intercepted by Kenny Phillips. Flag thrown at the point. Return continues back to the 45-yard line. Now, let's see if this is offensive or defensive.
Everyone in this stadium realizes, Ron, how big this call is.
Against the Canes.
Another big wide receiver, Demarius Bilbo, 6'3", 218. Bump and run coverage with Maxey. I don't like that call at all. If anything, he got a little bit of the face mask right there, but they didn't call that. If anything, Ron, it's a no call, bordering on offensive pass interference a little bit.
Yeah, and I guess the point, either way, what the rule says, by rule, it says if there is a push and it creates separation, it's pass interference. Then it's up to, is it offensive or is it defensive?
Let's take a look at it again. I mean, right here, Marcus Maxey leans into him. I think that's excellent coverage. You talk about lean into the receiver and then locate. That's a pretty darn good job of coverage right there.
First down from the 30, running play, Choice. Flag comes down. Chris Woods, I beg your pardon, at tailback.
Ron, let's go back. How hard it is on those officials to make those calls in a split-second decision, as this is a huge hold on Georgia Tech right here. But I realize just how hard it is to make these calls. But I have coached corners, and he leaned into the receiver. I would grade that as excellent coverage. But again, we're sitting here looking at it in slow motion, replaying it about 4 times.
The thing that you have to realize is that it's 2 times tonight that Miami has made pickoffs. They've made interceptions, and they've lost them because of penalties. So we'll see in the end. We'll put an asterisk by that play as well to
to see if it does come down to have a big part in the outcome of the ball game. First down and 20. Screen back into the short side of the field, thrown too short, and Choice couldn't come up with it.
You have to love the creativity of Chan Gailey calling these offensive plays. Set up a little double screen that time, and Chan Gailey, Ron, signed a new contract this past week at Georgia Tech. He's going to be there a long time, and I think he does a great job as the offensive coordinator.
I do too.
I really do.
Guys like Chan Gailey are good for college football. He and Coker seem as though they are pretty tight. They have kind of the same temperament, if you will.
And came up through the ranks both as offensive coordinators.
Ball gets the snap. Second down and very long. Deep over the middle. This one's going to be incomplete. Double coverage on large 21 that time. Calvin Johnson. And a flag is down. Back up the field at the line of scrimmage. Well, they may not have had enough men on the line of scrimmage.
Tell you, Georgia Tech.
Going a formation. Less than 7 men on the line of scrimmage. Against the offense is declined. Third down.
That's the second time they've had that self-inflicted penalty. But Georgia Tech going backwards right now with the holding penalty.
Yeah. Quite frankly, they're out of field goal range. This could be the play. Not of the ball game, but if they get close enough to the field goal, they can make it a 7-point lead. And we're running out of time. Just over 12 to play.
And Chan Gailey has played conservative on these down and distances.
Here's Choice. Breaks it big up the middle inside the 30, and he's down to the 26-yard line. Tackled by 3 to also Leon Williams, a gain of 14.
Boy, they keep you off balance. I'm talking about Georgia Tech and the play calling of Chan Gailey. That was huge, Ron, setting up this field position.
I'll tell you what, and with it, that's Travis Bell, who you see coming on. His longest, 48 yards. This one is going to be an attempt of 44 yards.
Keep an eye on Marcus Maxey coming off that corner for Miami.
Good snap, plenty of distance, and he is wide left. No good. So let's take a timeout. 11:27 remaining. Georgia Tech with a 4-point margin. Welcome back to the Orange Bowl. Antrell Roll, former cornerback here, a really good one from 2001 to 2004. Talking it over with Johnson and also Maxey. Blitz coming on Miami. They throw the screen there. Tries to pick up the block. Flag is down, and it's going to come out over the 40-yard line. Let's see if this one goes back. Michael Hall on the tackle. It was Hill, the fullback, on the play. Offensive holding. Miami erase the 15-yard play. Boy, so the number 3 team in the country really kind of having a self-inflicted situation here. 2 interceptions that have been given back, and now a 15-yard gain. Orange Bowl to Miami, Florida. Number 3 Miami, 8-1. Trying to stay in a position to play for the national championships at 1 or 2 slip. And right now they're down by 4. They still have 11 minutes and 17 seconds left, but the Georgia Tech defense has been a riddle that they have not been able to solve totally so far.
What you better watch, Georgia Tech, you mentioned earlier, 18 interceptions, the most at the Georgia Tech since 1981.
Swings the pass out at the 20-yard line. Not very much for Sonoris Moss. Chris Reese is there to make the tackle. You have to wonder right now if maybe Dan Werner and Larry Coker might not try to, like they did early in the ball game, Bob, more to Moss and also to Darnell Jenkins, the game breakers.
And one other thing, Ron, Greg Olson, the talented tight end, number 82, not thrown to tonight, but a lot of pass protection. Is forced to stay in because of these blitzes.
Blitz off the corner again. Has time, gets it away, incomplete. That one intended the man I was talking about, Jenkins. Jenkins really gaining respect with more play.
And again, you watch Georgia Tech in 3 deep coverage. Kenny Scott, deep zone. Really, that should have been a completion right there.
I thought an interesting thing. We talked to Kelly Jennings earlier this week. But you ask him which defender would he least like to cover on a 3rd down situation that's huge, and he quickly said Sonoris Moss is the man I would not want to have to deal with. He's the toughest to stay with. 3rd down. They roll the pocket to the left this time. Right. Gonna put it on top. And it is tipped. And a flag comes down. They're going to call pass interference against Georgia Tech. And it would appear Dennis Davis is the man that he was pointing to. But now, remember, Landry tipped the football. If there was interference, did it happen before or after?
Exactly.
We have multiple fouls. We have an ineligible receiver. Number 84 was covered. We have pass interference. Number 24, the defense. They're offset. Repeat, 3rd down.
First of all, the pass interference right here. Man.
You know, Bob, the inexcusable thing, and you as a former coach would know this better than anybody, the inexcusable thing is the covering of an eligible wide receiver.
And that's going to be the interesting call. I'm not sure number 84 has been in the game for Miami. Obviously gave out the wrong number on the call.
I think so. Probably he's talking about Zellner, number 88. Because Ortega's 15 and Greg Olson's 82. 3rd down. We'll play it again. Pressure right up the middle. And Wright is going to be sacked again. K. Michael Hall comes through and gets it. Seven times they have sacked the Miami quarterback.
And again, you see K. Michael Hall, the linebacker, on the blitz. This is a Miami offense that had 9 sacks against Florida State in the first game.
Here's the punt, and boy, I'll tell you, they're coming close, knowing the left footer steps in one direction, touched by Georgia Tech, and recovered by Miami.
Ron, that is the 3rd muff, the 4th mistake on a punt return situation. I said earlier, just fair catch the thing. Take the football if you're Georgia Tech.
James Johnson. Well, he muffed it. You can't advance it, but you certainly can recover it. Exactly. And Miami does. The only time he can pick it up and run with is after he gains possession, and then you hit him and he fumbles it after a punt.
And Georgia Tech, Ron,
Bruce Johnson
played so close and so well, but to get to the next level, you have to win a game like this. And Chan Gailey realizes what a huge mistake, but that's been multiple mistakes in the punt return game for Georgia Tech.
The play is being reviewed.
I can tell you this, if they overturn this play,
the only thing I saw was
lock the door.
Did he touch the ball? I think it's obvious he touched it by his reaction.
Yeah, that.
I think the only question was, did he touch it?
Yeah, he touched it right there. Left hand. And Bob, you're exactly right. You can tell by the anguish on his face that he touched it.
And James Johnson, maybe if he would have acted like he didn't touch it, the call may have gone the other way.
Review, the ball was touched in the field of play. Recovered by Miami. First down.
again, it's close to whether it's touched or not.
Left hand,
it is touched.
Yeah, it is touched with the left hand. So Miami gets a gift. Now let's see if they can take advantage of it. They have it 1st and 10 at the Georgia Tech 47. We're now under 10 minutes to play. Miami trailing by 4, 14-10. Charlie Jones, they pulled the guard. They tried the right side. There's not much there. Wilkinson on the tackle. Let's check in for a SportsCenter 30 at 30 update.
All right, Ron, Joe Paterno on his way to the BCS. Nittany Lions beat Michigan State 31-22 to clinch a share of the Big Ten title and the BCS berth because they beat Ohio State head-to-head. Now, typically, this is when Michigan State says, hey, it's basketball season anyway. But the Spartans, the first top 10 team to lose this year, they lost by 22 to Hawaii in the Islands, 84-62. More on SportsCenter after the game. ESPN News constantly.
All right, Reese, play action here. Right, rolls the pocket, has a man there. There's a tight end. They finally threw to Ortega. We were wondering what it was going to be, either Olsen or Ortega. First time to a tight end that they've thrown tonight.
A couple things on this play, Ron. First, they line Eric Winston up at tight end. He is right here, the tight end on that play. The second thing, they're going to bring Ortega across on the crossing route out of play action. The reason Winston is at tight end and ineligible is for maximum pass protection. Great job of moving on the play action pass, but pass protection is key.
Good for 24 yards on the play. Hands it off to Charlie Jones, and Charlie is going to have short yardage to the left side, maybe about 3. And Hawaii, along with Philip Wheeler, combining on the tackle. Now Miami would like to see, as they get closer to the goal line, they'd like to see that clock run a little more and a little faster. Under 8.5 minutes to play.
Nothing comes easy against Georgia Tech's defense. Again, you see those linebackers up in a blitz position.
And they come off the corner on the top of the screen. Charlie Jones going to be hit and stopped short of the first down by Wilkinson. Wow, what a hard and sure tackle that Charlie was not going to go one step further.
Again, the linebackers from the outside blitzing spill the football outside. You see Philip Wheeler. Now Chris Reese has an opportunity right here and misses that tackle. Really could have been a holding call on Miami on the linebacker at the line of scrimmage right there, but the missed tackle by Chris Reese allowed that football outside.
There's no question there could have been. It is about a yard, maybe a yard and a half to pick up the first down. Clock about to go under 8 minutes left in our ball game. Miami 1 of 12 on third down conversions, and Charlie is being spun around, and Jones, tackled by Oliver, is not going to have the first down.
Interesting decision right here, Ron.
You make it a one-point game, or do you go for the first down?
He's having a hard time. It looks like they're going for it. Now the question is, how do you handle the blitz? Because I'm telling you, there will be penetration on this play. Tough to run the football, Ron, right here with the penetrating Tech defense.
Fourth down. They need about 2 yards. Right. Hands it off to running back. Jones hit behind the line of scrimmage, and you see the celebration by the Ramblin' Wreck from Georgia Tech. Is K. Michael Hall is the man who headmanned the play, and the happiest guy in the ballpark is Johnson, who muffed that punt.
And you knew the linebackers were going to be coming. K. Michael Hall in the backfield penetration run. Tough on 4th down and 3 to run the football against that kind of defense. And James Johnson, number 89, who dropped that punt or muffed that punt, is the second happiest guy behind Chan Gailey right now.
So 7 minutes and 16 seconds left in our ball game. Georgia Tech with the hold on 4th down, leading by 4. Choice
Little counter action, tries to bounce it outside, and look at the speed by Kenny Phillips, the freshman out of Miami, Carroll City. Whoa.
Ron, I'll tell you what, he's dancing. #1 high school football player in the country last year, Kenny Phillips, true freshman. You talk about closing speed now. He came from 10 yards deep right there. If you wear #1 in Miami, you better be good now. And this guy's going to be good.
He's backed up every ounce of it. Good heavens.
Wow. Crowd trying to help out the defense. 2nd down and 10. Ball, far sideline, overthrows Johnson. Reese Davis, let's check back with you.
All right, Ron, USC's won 32 in a row, but Fresno State will play anybody, anytime, anywhere. Dogs first drive. Paul Penninger firing Devin McDonald, but the Trojans not get free. That's okay. Jermaine Jamison is there. And Fresno State in the Coliseum with an early lead on the Trojans, 7-0.
That's interesting.
Not exactly the way it was designed, but... Okay, this Georgia Tech team lost a heartbreaker to NC State on a ball thrown behind Johnson. It was tipped. Flag comes in. Gardner could have come out of his stance. 64.
Ball start. Number 64 of the offense. 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. It remains 3rd down.
Do they lead the NCAA? I'm talking about Miami's defense in causing false starts for offensive football teams. I mean, they wreak havoc because of the speed they have up front.
And Andrew Gardner saying, you know, it's so difficult with your 6'6", 290 to move and not have somebody see it.
You have to think about quarterback draw, Ron, and just punt the football and play defense if you're Georgia Tech.
3rd down, they need to take it out to the 25-yard line. He's got it up here, and a man is there, and it's overthrown. It was Calvin Johnson who just planed out for the football, and Jennings on the cover, but it had been just a tad shorter. They would have had a miraculous 1st down.
And I'll tell you something, Calvin Johnson told us he hasn't been timed since high school, but they say he runs in the high 4.3s, and that time you could see that speed, but the ball just a little bit overthrown.
8th punt of the night by Arndt. Barely got it away. Wobbly spiral, and Jenkins spins around, looks for a block. Boy, in all kind of trouble, going to run out of bounds at the 46-yard line, his own. 35 yards in the punt and a -9 on the return. How about that job by Georgia Tech on that punt? We'll take a break.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Polaroid. Log on to ESPN.com, search Polaroid for a chance to go to the BCS National Championship. And in part by Saturn.
So we are back. Situation, 6:13 showing on the clock. Georgia Tech 14 and the #3 team in the country, Miami, 10. And look at this right here. Rush yards, Miami, 30 total, season low, 34 against Temple. Right, deep in the pocket. Gonna go deep down the far sideline at the tight end, and we just talked about it. Greg Olson, the tight end we were talking about. Where's Olson been? Get him out of max protection and throw to him.
And that time they lined Greg Olson up out at wide receiver. He's not involved in protection. He's down the field and runs a corner route run, and he is wide open right there, but the quarterback is rattled. Keep in mind, 7 sacks tonight for Georgia Tech. That ball should have been completed. That would have been a huge, huge play for Miami. Again, he lines up out at wide receiver. They're going with an empty backfield, no back set. Look for twist stunts up front by Georgia Tech.
Right, sets deep in the pocket, right over the middle, got a man. Tip should have been intercepted by Wilkinson of Georgia Tech as Wright threw it right to him.
No question the quarterback is rattled, but how about the deep pass drop by the middle linebacker, 49, Jarris Wilkinson. Right here, you're going to see Wilkinson right there in the middle of the field, drop down the seam too deep, and he has the vertical up the seam. The ball bounces off his shoulder pads.
Yeah, right that face mask. You're right. So it's third down. Third down and 10. Miami 1 of 13 on third down conversions. Georgia Tech blitz off the corner, top of your screen, and they throw the screen pass back into the boundary. Good call, except they had that defended pretty doggone well as well. Boy, listen to the boos from this crowd.
And how impressive is Georgia Tech's defense and how they've rattled the quarterback, Kyle Wright. Last week, Ron, Kyle Wright, his best football game. A lot of people thought that would be the launching pad for Kyle Wright. But Georgia Tech has come out and just discombobulated him.
10 punts by Miami tonight. 10. And nobody back for Georgia Tech.
There you go. Now you made a good decision, Chan Gailey. Just take the football.
Touch dead at the 5-yard line. Reese Davis, did you have anybody back that time?
Always have somebody in single safety, Ron. USC and Fresno State, you're going to need more than one safety to stop Reggie Bush. Bulldogs had a 7-0 lead. Trojans answer with the Heisman candidate. Bush having to cut back, and Tyrone Culver trips him up and saves a touchdown, but only temporarily until Lendale White strolls into the end zone, and the #1 team in the land tied Fresno State at 7, still in the first.
Lendale White. That's got to be career touchdown, either 46 or 47 for him. Tashard Choice in a tailback. It's the worst starting position of the night by Georgia Tech, and they go conservative on the running play, not wanting to do anything silly as the clock is about to hit 5 1/2 minutes left to play. Miami, #3 ranked, looking for a crack in the door that maybe SC or Texas might stumble. And right now they got more on their platter than they can say grace over. They're down by 4. We're about to hit the 5-minute mark. It is going to get testy as far as decisions that are going to have to be made. Miami shows blitz. They come off the corner, and it is Reggie Ball in the quarterback sneak, and he picks up the first down at the 4:59 mark.
You talk about competitors, Ron. Put Reggie Ball #1 at the top of the list. Had a great freshman year. Freshman ACC Newcomer of the Year as a freshman. Last year struggled. And in a town like Atlanta that's a pro sports town, they can turn on you quickly. But say what you want, this guy is as competitive a guy as there is in college football.
First downs, it's number 19 for Georgia Tech. Miami with only 8 on the evening. Choice bounces it outside. It's a good one-on-one stop at the 22-yard line by Leon Williams, senior out of Brooklyn, New York. Sports Center coming up immediately following our game, and our clock is running. 4:18, now 4:17. Bob, the last time that our crew was down here in Miami, Florida, it was the Clemson Tigers, who were huge underdogs, who came back and knocked off Miami. Right now, Georgia Tech trying to do the last or the same thing that we saw last year right here in the stadium. Up by 4, 3 minutes and 50 seconds to play. 2nd and 7. Choice hit behind the line of scrimmage, tries to wiggle his way out, but he's going to lose a yard. Kenny Phillips making the tackle. Now 3rd down.
And to put this in perspective, all week, I bet I've had 5 people come up to me this week alone and say, what about Miami against USC for the national championship? I think most people felt Miami the hottest team in college football, and Georgia Tech comes in here in 3 minutes and 20 seconds away from a huge upset.
Tells me one thing, you weren't in the state of Texas or anywhere close.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Longhorns, USC, right?
You betcha. On 3rd down, that clock has run down to 4, down to 3, down to 2. And they're going to let the delay of game happen. Or did they call a timeout? Did get the timeout called. I beg your pardon. So 3:01 showing on the clock. Let's take a timeout.
Georgia Tech 14, Miami 10. Coming up after the game, Sports Center with Steve Levy and John Anderson. Tonight's top stories, BCS Bowl predictions, USC update, and Rivalry Saturday recap. Immediately following our game, and our clock shows 3:01 to play in our ball game. Third down. They need to take it to the 29-yard line. Ball. Looking for Johnson, and incomplete. Right into the middle of double coverage, and the big guy still was very close to coming up with it.
And Reggie, you made some great decisions tonight. That one poor decision could have cost you right here. Lockdown coverage, Kelly Jennings at the top, throws it dead into traffic right there. Dodged a bullet, Reggie Ball.
It's a punt.
Ninth punt of the evening. And the guy that everybody's got to keep an eye on is Darnell Jenkins.
And we'd love to see that guy, Devin Hester, out there in this opportunity. The premier punt returner in the country.
Best punt of the night. Driving spiral well over his head, and look at this. Back inside the 5-yard line. And why pick it up? It would have gone into the end zone. And the tackle not made. Going to bring it out to around the 10-yard line. Good heavens, what a mental error.
You are exactly right. Darnell Jenkins back there because Devin Hester is over here on the sidelines with a hamstring. But Ron, he makes a decision early that the ball has enough gas to go into the end zone. That ball would have crossed the goal line right there and been a touchback.
That's a career long 78 yards. He does get 10 on the return. Wow.
That guy's had a heck of a night.
That big tackle he made.
Great open field tackle.
So 2:37 showing on the clock. Miami down 14-10.
He's going to keep blitzing.
Kyle Wright delivers it, has it complete. That's Hill, and Hill over the 20 and to around the 24-yard line. 13 yards in the play to Juan Landry on the stop. K. Michael Hall coming with some tough pressure.
Georgia Tech's defense, Ron, has got him to this position. Now Georgia Tech's defense has to finish it off right now.
Right from the shotgun again. K. Michael Hall coming from down below on your screen. Pass is complete at the 40, 45 to Ryan Moore. And just like that in 2 plays, Miami is at the 48-yard line. That one good for 24. And the clock still shows 2:10 to play.
And the linebacker right here, Jarris Wilkinson, overran that thing. But the big square in route to Ryan Moore. The quarterback's heating up, Ron. Pass protection's been excellent right here.
Here comes Georgia Tech again. Ball is underthrown. Crowd didn't like it, but Kyle Wright had no choice. He's been sacked 7 times tonight and pressured at least that many more, and he had to get rid of that football. It stops the clock, 1:53. 13 of 29, 183, and 1 touchdown. Here comes the blitz. Picked up, pass caught, 50-yard line. Moss down the sideline and finally tripped up. It's going to be inside the 30-yard line. Dennis Davis is the man who saved a possible 6 and another 24-yard play.
And a great block by Greg Olson, the tight end, on the little jailbreak screen right there. Greg Olson gets him down. And the speed of Sonoris Moss. Excellent block on Reese, the safety by Greg Olson in the open field.
At the line of scrimmage also a good pickup by Eric Winston, the big left tackle, to make sure that his quarterback had time and could turn and throw the ball.
And Ron, regardless of how this game turns out, I think we have to give a lot of credit to John Tenuta, the defensive coordinator of Georgia Tech. And I'm going to make this point. And I was a head coach. Head coaches make, let's just say, $1 million a year. And defensive coordinators, let's say, make $200 or $250 or $300,000 a year. There's a huge gap. And one thing that I think is a little bit unfair in college football is that the head coach makes so much, and those coordinators in these high-profile positions don't make nearly as much. You talk about Al Borges at Auburn.
Yeah.
You talk about John Tenuta here at Georgia Tech. Chan Gailey is a great head coach, but he's the offensive coordinator, and John Tenuta has a huge role in what happens with this Georgia Tech football team.
Well,
so
the interesting thing is we opened the year at Auburn, which is a very good football team, and he totally confused a young quarterback. Tonight, they're not in the end zone yet, but he's totally confused a quarterback who's only started 10 football games.
And I'm not trying to get him a pay raise. I talk about coordinators all over the country, but you think about the role that coordinators play. They are like the head coach on their side of the football.
So here we come. 1 minute and 46 seconds left in the ball game. Number 3 Miami. Can they come back and get the win? They're down by 4.
The previous play is being reviewed.
It took a long time to decide we're going to review it. Obviously, it's where the football or where it went out of bounds. The ball spotted.
You know what? I'm glad they're doing it to make sure that we get it exactly right. But the point is, as you said, why did that take so long?
Let's look. It looks like it should be the 27-yard line. Is that right?
27 or 28, yeah. Bob.
Yeah, when it's spotted right now on the 27. Looks insignificant to me, Ron, just based on that quick replay we had. Again, right.
Yeah,
there.
The 28. Looks like the 28-yard line. And the ball has been spotted about a yard closer to the end zone than where it appears that he went out. Looks like he went over the 28 right there, doesn't it?
Where the ball was, he did have that football extended a little bit. But I agree, I'm a little surprised it took so long to make the decision to review this. Do you know
Sports Center coming up next, immediately following our ball game.
And let's also how big this is for Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech right now with 6 wins, but the ACC with potentially 8 or 9 bowl-eligible teams with 6 bids. So Georgia Tech, even though they have 6 wins, not a lot to get a bowl bid. I'm sorry, I talked through that. Did you hear that?
No, you were talking. It appears as though it's going to stay right where it is. The biggest thing that I can see as an asset right here is this extra time is an aid to the Georgia Tech defense, which has got to be dead tired right now.
I think that's a valid point.
Big Eric Henderson, you can see him. A look into Chris Ray's space, number 18.
Again, the empty formation with Greg Olsen lined up out at wide receiver.
So here we go, the shotgun formation. Sets deep in the pocket, going for the end zone. There's the tight end. It is intercepted. Georgia Tech with the pickoff. Dennis Davis, and the celebration across the way has begun. 1 minute and 38 seconds left, and the number 3 team in the country is about to go down in their own backyard.
And if you remember a little bit earlier in the 4th quarter, the same exact corner route by Miami that was wide open, and Dennis Davis, the corner, just sinks. Ball hangs in the air, and Ron, that was 1st and 10, which is really a dagger for Kyle Wright.
You learn from every situation. That guy right there, John Tenuta, said, boys, get this 138 off the clock. Let's get in the plane and head back to Atlanta, Georgia. Reggie Ball takes it wide, does not want to get out of bounds.
How about Georgia Tech in the shotgun, Ron, coming out of their own end zone. See Reggie Ball woofing a little bit.
Well, Miami calls a timeout to stop the clock at 1 minute and 28 seconds left. Holly Rowe.
Well, Ron, when you consider the week that Georgia Tech and Chan Gailey have had, first the high, he gets a new contract extension. Then the lows, a player is ordered by a judge to be able to play on the team. Then an announced probation by the NCAA. Chan Gailey said he addressed his team and said, look, you've got to compartmentalize. Those are issues off the field you can't control. You have nothing to do with those. We will take care of the issues. You've got to trust us. He said, what I need you to do is focus and take care of what you can control, which is on the football field. Guys, they've taken his advice today.
Boy, have they ever, Holly. You know, I'm with Bob. The strange thing, and young players make young mistakes, and you learn from them. You hope that they learn from them. But a first down play like that, Kyle Wright is going to go back and replay that 1,000 times because they had too many opportunities from really close in to make something happen and win this football game.
And Ron, you go back, I mean, it's Kyle Wright's 10th start as a quarterback here at Miami. But how about Georgia Tech? You knew coming in their defense was capable. We've seen it week in and week out, really. And on offense, they have enough weapons. And if Reggie Ball, #1, plays and makes good decisions, Georgia Tech has a chance really to compete with anyone.
Well, look at this. Look at this. If you're Georgia Tech's alumni and you're just giving the guy an extension, as we watch Reggie Ball at a quarterback keeper, he is close to the first down. In fact, I think he just got it. This would be wins over Auburn and a win over the Miami Hurricanes, both on the road.
Exactly. And if you're Chan Gailey, I hope you didn't sign that contract yet. You may have just gotten yourself a pay raise coming out of this one.
You're getting everybody a raise tonight, aren't you?
But you're right.
You're right. I totally agree. But when you look at those 2 road wins, how many people at the beginning of the year would have sat there and said, well, for Georgia Tech, here's a W on the road, and here's another W on the road.
It's a huge first down because Miami with 2 timeouts now down to 1 timeout, Ron.
Okay, now we'll look at our Polaroid image of the game. And you might know which one it is. Big CJ, Calvin Johnson. Remember this catch? That is a Polaroid image that the Yellow Jackets will remember, not just for this season, but for a long time to come. Calvin Johnson, sophomore, right there in the state of Georgia. 6 receptions, 89 yards, thrown to 16 times. Had to stay in, as Holly reported, that he had to stay in the locker room, and he needed some fluids because he was cramping.
And the big question, Ron, could Calvin Johnson beat bump and run man coverage? Last year, Miami, Antrell Roll held him to 2 catches and 10 yards. He can beat bump and run man coverage. He's proven that.
Boy, and that catch right there, he obviously is stronger. A reminder, Sports Center coming up immediately following our ball game, and we have 1:25 showing on the clock. Timeouts, Miami has 1.
You have to go back to the loss Georgia Tech had against NC State.
That's the one I was saying.
Calvin Johnson had that opportunity to win it.
But the ball was thrown behind him, and his head coach said, yes, it did. It devastated him for a while. Here comes Reggie Ball, tries to bounce it outside, and he's going to slide down to make sure he does not go out of bounds. Miami's going to use their final timeout.
I know I'm old-fashioned because I still get nervous about that quarterback being in the shotgun late in a game like this, but good decision again on the slide by Reggie Ball to make Miami use that timeout.
So the standings in the Coastal Division. Miami, in 1 minute and 18 seconds, if they don't pull off a miracle here, will go to 5-2. And if you live anywhere in southwestern Virginia, I think you'll hear a celebration go off in the Blacksburg area.
And if Virginia Tech beats North Carolina
next Saturday,
then Virginia Tech gets their shot at Florida State in the ACC championship game.
That's exactly right.
And how impressive was Virginia Tech on a rebound game, particularly the quarterback Marcus Vick, and also Cedric Humes, the running back, I thought did a great job today.
Kyle Wright's numbers: 14 of 31, 207, 1 touchdown, 1 interception that came just a couple of moments ago, and it came down on a first down play. And Dennis Davis, number 25, sitting right there, redshirt senior out of Sicklerville, New Jersey.
That's now 19 interceptions for Georgia Tech's defense, because the linebackers got a bunch of interceptions themselves, not just the DBs.
You know, the other thing that you have to consider is if Miami loses this game, are they going to lose a BCS bowl bid? That run will go out to the 19-yard line, and now Miami cannot stop the clock.
Miami coming back home, Ron, after 2 big wins on the road. You had to worry a little bit about them keeping their intensity, but I don't think anyone saw this coming. And Eric Henderson over there in the back, he's going to enjoy this one, number 56.
Play clock is down to 15. 44 seconds on the game clock. This is 3rd down. They'll have to snap it, then they will not have to run another play. Reggie Ball stretches it out. Going to go down.
That's going to be it.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, it's not been whistled back in. Sports Center coming up next. You see the excitement on the far sideline. Shen Gailey saying, "Can I smile yet?" Yes, you can, Coach. 14 seconds and down to 13.
And Georgia Bulldogs, get ready, because Georgia Tech's going to show up next week in Atlanta.
3 seconds down to 2. There, we're going to go to her immediately as soon as we get a camera right there with Coach Gailey. And we got one right there. Holly, let's go to you with a very happy head coach.
Get Larry, get everybody over there.
Coach is still shouting instructions right now. After everything that's happened to your team this week, what did this mean win for you?
Well, it's a great win. I mean, anytime you can beat the number 3 team in the nation on the road, to me, what you're looking at is the heart of a great football team. I told you before, they can compartmentalize. They can put things aside and find ways to win games. I'm proud of them as young men.
Your defense was just outstanding. Talk about find a way to win games, Coach.
Well, our defense, I have to give so much credit to John Tenuta and the defensive staff and players. They did an unbelievable job. The heart of this football team is immeasurable.
Thanks very much, Coach. Ron.
Thanks, Holly. Your final score, Georgia Tech 14, Miami 10. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Sports Center is coming up next. Over on ESPN News, it's Postgame Extra. And now for Bob Davie, Holly Rowe, and our entire crew, I'm Ron Franklin, saying so long, everybody, from a shot, and I do mean shot, Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida. 14-10, the Yellow Jackets come away victorious. Good night, everybody, from Miami.